All right. Shout out to everyone watching. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to all the returning subscribers. Get me, if you're new here, get me. Be like the returning subscribers. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so when I do go live or post any other content, you will be there available to watch there and then. By the way, my name is Versatile, aka the Alkebulan, trusted name you could trust when it comes to all things reactions. So yeah, let's just get straight into today's reaction. Give me a second. Let me make sure that this is all good, which it looks like it's all good. All right, so give it a sec. All right, without further delays, get me. Listen, we're gonna react to this will change how you view employment. Yeah. And if I butcher auntie's name, you know what I mean? Then I apologize for all my Kenyans out there. I apologize, all right? Man, born and raised in South London, UK. You know what I'm saying? So I believe her name is pronounced Masidis Madowo, and I believe she's part of the politician situation, political. Let me not say too much, but do you know what I mean? If you're familiar with her, you're familiar with her. Today is, if you're watching and reacting, if you're watching live, then you know it's Friday. And well, Friday in the UK, anyways. But it's like this. I'm doing a new thing, a new segment. Like every day, there's something new. Yeah, some days I make, yeah. Some like for example, today is Financial Friday. All right, so this is why we're discussing this. All right, so let's get straight into it. No delay. Let's go.
We have a pending list of people.
A pending list of people.
So ukiwa kwa pending list at the UN, and you know, Kwanza, it's funny. I wonder what your former employers would feel watching you now, knowing that every time they saw you in the office.
Wait, what does his shirt say? Wait, I missed that. Hold on. I missed that. Let's rewind that. I'll try not to. What's going on? It's like YouTubers. You know, YouTube has changed. Hold up. Okay.
We have a pending list of people.
A pending list of people.
So ukiwa kwa pending list at the UN, and you know, Kwanza, it's funny. I wonder what your former employers would feel watching you now, knowing that every time they saw you in the office, you are a passing cloud. So I'm like, so if the UN calls you kwa pending list, umesha apply chini ya maji. If they call you, yes. Are you guys? You guys, it's been good. As in, why that was not formal language there.
Yeah.
Wadau mazai, hii nyingine tena fire featuring Scholastica Masidis Madowo. Of course, there's a link to Madowo, but hiyo tutawaambia later because mambo ni mengi na masaa ni machache.
Because you introduce a very interesting concept that I've never thought of. Don't just look for a job because you need to pay bills.
No. Unless you are comfortable with stagnation and no.
That's interesting. Don't just look for a job just to pay bills. Do you know, there was something else I was watching and they said something quite similar. I can't remember what it was because they were more or less saying you'll be bored at that job. Do you understand? No, I know where it was from. It was from work. I kid you not, where I work. I'm not going to disclose the location or the job that I work at, but like my employers and stuff like that. But yeah, it was very interesting what they actually said. And I was like, raw, okay. It kind of makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. And the only reason why I'm saying it doesn't make sense is because we live in a society where money is needed, right? Money is needed to pay bills. So you have to find a job to pay the bills. I'm not saying that should be the only thing you should be doing, but the reality is if that's the only job you can get for now, then that's the only job you can get for now just to cover your bills. If you can invest in something else that you want to do outside from your employment, then fine. If there's something else you want to do for your lifestyle, then fine. But bills have to be taken care of. Personally, I'm just also talking from experience as well, where at the end of the day, naturally, when it's difficult to not look, let's get this straight, yeah. I'm not gonna say it's difficult to look for employment, because if you got access to certain resources, it's very easy to look for employment. It's them hiring you that is the most challenging thing ever. It's challenging, irrespective of what your age is. It's very challenging. Now, I say that to say this. This is why I'm like, well, you don't know the financial hardship that person is in. You don't know if previously they got themselves into financial debt. Maybe it's not even their fault. Maybe they were a guarantor for something and they're falling behind on debt because they obviously can't pay. There's many aspects, but let's keep it moving. Let's go.
If you are a hot blood like the Gen Zs are hot blood, you don't want to stay in one position for 10 years.
Now from the NGO world, hizo stories zote tunasikianga vile watu wako na do huko UN. Scholastica anakuja na ideas moto za career progression.
How good was the counter offer?
It was equivalent to what
you are getting. Please demystify this for us. Word is that when you get a counter offer, don't take it, not because you're tired of the place, but because it's a ploy now to fire you officially. You know, there's a sweetness. There's a sweetness to firing someone. Like, how are you quitting?
Yeah, how are you quitting? We should be firing you.
Yes, let's pay you, then buy some time, we get someone to replace you, and then we get the pleasure of firing you.
That is deep. Because the reality is you're always replaceable. That's mad. Like, raw. This is why you should always go above and beyond if you can physically and mentally can. If you can't, then it is what it is. But don't play about a joke about with your employment. This is making me realize even further. You know what I mean? By the way, bear with me because, you know what I mean? Technically, I'm supposed to be resting. You know what I mean? So I got my bottle of water here as well. So I'm trying to, yeah. So bear with me. Yeah, but I have to keep this channel active. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification, make sure you share. But yeah, let's go.
Is there truth to that? Should one take a counter offer, or it should still be looked at with suspicion?
Debt management.
You start spending and you go into supermarket and then you're spending.
Okay, this is just a preview, and then it goes into
Yes. And before you finish, then the month has ended. You're going to take another 10,000, and this what you're paying back is like you only paid that 2,000. This thing is compounding. They make it easy for you.
Yes.
And by the time I was getting concerned, I think I had like 100,000 of debt.
Credit card debt.
I had credit card debt.
Kabla tuzame ndani ya conversation, please allow me first to forgive.
100,000 in any currency. I don't know what currency she was 100,000 in debt of, but 100,000 in any currency sounds a lot. It sounds a lot.
Give myself, though bado na feel vibaya sijaiwaambia about the Odoo customer relationship management ama CRM app. Nashindwa kushake off your feeling ya vile nawaletea info late, and here's why. Now the Odoo CRM software is a legit game changer when it comes to sales na relationship management. Na honestly, hiyo ndio backbone ya biashara yote, especially kwa B2B, as in business to business. The Odoo CRM app itakusaidia ku keep track of all your potential customers and leads. Yani, if a customer expresses interest in your product or service kwa email, social media ama kwa mtandao in general, the Odoo CRM app ina auto capture your information, inarusha kwa opportunity pipeline where you and your sales
sounds really
can
interesting.
drag and drop.
I'm not gonna lie to you
through the
still.
stages. As in, hii system inakupatia data backed feedback ya mahali mmetoana na client mpaka mahali mmefikishana, all the way from a lead to conversion. Now think about it. What's one of the best strategies our street vendors ama hawkers wautumia kuuza vitu? Eye contact. Macho yenu ikikutana tu hivi, unajua there's an 80% chance unabuy kitu. Now imagine that in a corporate setting. Mtu aki-express to interest kwa product ama service yako, uko na system ya kurun nayo mpaka mfunge hiyo biz professionally. And that's not all. The Odoo CRM inakupatia added value like extra visibility of your sales cycle. Unaweza cheki deals ziko live, ni gani zimekwama na ni gani zinakuja. You can
Okay, I
also
wish I
schedule
knew what
calls,
was talking here, but I
emails,
don't know.
and log all information about a deal on your
I'm
charter.
saying this
In short,
app
ukienda leave, someone
is
else
very
can pick up
interesting.
an
If you got a
opportunity
business,
kabla
get this
ipause.
app.
Halafu,
Clearly.
like all the other Odoo apps, the CRM software imeconnectiwa na apps zingine kama sales, marketing, accounting, na everything relevant to your business processes. Now get this, you can get the Odoo CRM software free of charge and for life. That is if you choose it as your first app on the Odoo platform, na link ndio hii tumekuwekea kwa description ya hii video. Now, apart from CRM, Odoo iko na over 45 applications
Alright, bear with me,
designed for
people.
the...
Let me know in the comments below, because he's switching from English to another language, yeah. And I can somewhat understand because do you get it? But it's like when I say somewhat understand, it's obviously because of these expressions, isn't it? That's what's making it easier for me to somewhat understand. But let me know what language he is speaking in. I want to definitely know. Yeah, shout out to everyone watching. Get me, turn on the post notifications, share. Let's go.
Smooth running of your daily business operation, kama invoicing, sales, inventory, and so much more. Whichever app unachagua as the first application unahitaji on the Odoo platform, unaipata free and for life, including hosting and support. But you can add as many as you want based on your business needs, na utazipata na bei poa. So, peleka biashara yako to the next level na Odoo. Use the link tumekuwekea kwa description ya hii video.
Hang on, I want to see if I can translate what exactly just said, that last part. So if you want to take your business to the next level, click on the link in the description. Did he say that? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's go.
One of my favorite areas of exploration. Sometimes you sit down and reflect on your life and look at certain moments that you made the right decision. Certain moments that if you have taken a different path, probably your life will be very different. Do you have one that comes to mind when you reflect
Good
back?
question.
Do you have a picture? If we go back to, let's say, primary school, do you have a picture of what you want to become and what is the setting for you?
That's a good question.
When we were growing up, or when I was growing up,
Hold on.
I wanted to be, I saw myself as many things at different times, and it changed. I had a big sister who was a secretary, and I wanted to follow her footsteps.
Isn't that always the way? Your older siblings, like you want to be like them. Like if it's not your parents, want to be like. More often, it's like you want to be like your siblings, because it's like, right, if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's them ones. Let me know in the comments below if you got an older sibling and when you were a child, you wanted to be just like them, like well, it depends on the age gap, innit? But like, you know what I'm trying to say. Let me know in the comments below.
For being a nurse, at some point I wanted to be a teacher. Another point, actually, I wanted to get into military service.
Wow.
Allah?
Yes. Because I used to
Military
love
service.
all this, used to have this military parades whenever the president was in town. And during my time, I was born and grew up in Mombasa. And President Jomo Kenyatta used to love visiting Mombasa.
Yes,
especially during the August holidays, I remember. Yes. And the long holidays then. And we'd always have functions, and in primary school we'll all be performing, and a lot of times there'll be these parades. So I used to love that the military parade, the way they do it, and the uniforms and the discipline. So that also
That's interesting. And do you know what it is here? You know when you're a child, yeah, you soak in so much, and you can be you can be very influenced and inspired by a lot of things. But from what you see as a child, and also if you're a parent watching this, yeah, pay attention, because the reality is what your children see, they're more likely. I don't want to say they become their environment, because that's not always true. But I will say it does have some sort of reflection on potentially what they want to become in the near future. Do you understand? Obviously, God's had God's path for everyone, regardless. It is what it is, and whatever's going to be is whatever's going to be. But if you could help the situation where you want your child to be in a better position than, let's just say, your situation. Not to say you're in a bad situation, but obviously, naturally, we all want good for our children. So naturally, that aside, you make sure you put them in positions to make sure you get it. Not raw military parade, could be like this. It's raw. Kind of remind me of a time, yeah. Not to say that I wanted to be in the military, because far from it, but like I remember in primary school. I know this ain't about me, but this is just what I just remember. Right? I remember in primary school. You know what I mean? There was, in fact, let's just continue. Let's not. This ain't about me. If anyone wants to interview me, they can, and I could discuss that whenever. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about me, but there is similarities. You know what I'm saying? In some sense, that's interesting. And this is the first time for me of hearing about Masidis Madowo, and you know what I mean? And actually seeing her speak. This is literally the first time. You know what I mean? I just thought, what can I react to today? Like I literally woke up thinking, what can I react to this morning? Today's Friday, Financial Friday. You know what I mean? And because we're in the month of December, and December is the month, is December. It's a month that Kenya also celebrates their Independence Day. So I thought, that's my tactics. I can give away them tactics. I don't care. Give me more content similar to this, the better. Let's go.
Point I also wanted to be in the military.
Yes.
Then it started. I finished high school, then went into secretarial studies, and like I said, I followed my big sister's footsteps, and I wanted to be the best secretary in town.
That's the way. That's the mentality. You see that mentality, yeah? That's the mentality to have. I want to be the best. If I'm doing this here, I want to be the best in town. That mentality will drive you to be a huge success. Doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what role it is. So long as you strive to be the best. Do you know what I mean? And your actions show for it. Because you can try, but sometimes, you know what I mean? But it's the effort that makes more sense, and eventually that effort pays off. Let's go.
Then I started working. Those days it wasn't difficult to get jobs. You'd get whisked off even right from college.
Wow.
Before you finish, you got a job. Yes, it used to happen.
It wasn't difficult to get a job.
It was easy back then to get a job straight after college. It's that easy, like that. Hey, in the UK, well, outlet for personal experience, straight out of college. In fact, I needed a job while I was in college. I needed one, but it was difficult for me. It was challenging. Do you know what I mean? However, I will say this: I bear with me, because if I sound nasally, get me. I'm, like I said, I'm supposed to be resting and recovering, not doing too much. But yeah, that's interesting though. Like, she actually got a job easily. What error is that? And I wonder if that's like that in every other African country, every African country, as well as Caribbean country, but also in Europe as well. Like and in America, well, across the world. I'm very much intrigued to know how easy it could have been, how easy it was compared to now, or compared to the last 10, 20 years. Like, do you know what I mean? Wow. Didn't expect this.
Yes.
Okay, at this point, getting a job is just getting a job.
Yeah.
It's not about how much you earn.
No, it's just getting a job. It's not about how much you earn.
Okay.
But you're out of school, you've gone through college, and get into a public service. Well, public service or a job for that matter. But getting a job was literally, for me, I was recruited from college.
Wow.
They would come scouting for best secretary from the Polytechnic at that time. It was the best.
Wow. They came recruiting. Do they do that now? And let me know in the comments below if you're Kenyan. Yeah, do they do that in Is that a normal thing in Kenyan colleges in Kenya? Like, let me know in the comments below. Because I sure as hell know when I was in college, maybe because of what I was studying, maybe I don't know, but they didn't come to recruit like that. I mean, there probably was some recruitment days and fairs, but that was like elsewhere. But they would tell us via whether there would be careers advice and stuff like that. But that's completely different to being recruited. You know what I mean? To, like being scouted. That's interesting to me. Let's go.
Training institution for secretaries, and the government will come scouting for the best students.
Wow.
Yes.
By the time you're finishing, you've got your offer letter.
Offer letter for a job.
For a job.
In
Wow.
our generation, offer letter is for a loan.
Hey yo. Hey, nah, the way you brought that, the way you said that is hilarious. Listen, I was actually scared to laugh because of how ill I am, yeah. But yeah, man, I'm well in Jesus' name. Forget that. I'm well in Jesus' name. 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 I need to keep. I don't want us to keep saying it over and over because I know this is live. I know this. After this, there's a replay, and if you're watching, I don't want to get me. I don't want to speak that into existence, even though you get it. But anyway. I say speak that in exist. Oh, it's so mad. Words are about, but that was funny though. That was funny because it's true. Now it's just let alone like give us back our money. Like you know what I mean? We loaned you this amount, but college, uni, same not same difference. It just depends what country. But anyway, let's go.
Okay.
There were good times then. I think in my then career, in my journey, I think what the decision that I remember well was to leave Mombasa and venture out.
Wow,
Because
why?
Mombasa at that time was small,
Okay.
and if you wanted to grow in your career, you had to look up to Nairobi. That's where there were better opportunities, better paying jobs.
The first secretarial job you get in Mombasa.
Yes.
So now, if you already gotten a job, you don't care about how much you earn, right?
Yes.
What is pushing you to look for other
That's
opportunities?
a few
And you
years.
already have a job.
A few years down the line.
A few years down the line.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this because your relationship with money has changed? I mean, you've gotten used to the secretarial money. What's next after?
Yeah, and I think it's usually in the minds of people that you want to grow. You don't want to remain where you are.
Okay,
And
for sure.
I was in a place where I thought I was stagnant, and in my early years of working life, you'll hear I hopped into many jobs. I'm one of those people who are very, very patient. I stay in a place for 3 years. I started getting jittery. I want to go elsewhere.
3 years. 3 years, even until this day, in a job is a long time. There's some people that don't even last 6 months. Then on to another job. Then they move on to another job. There's some that only last 3 months. And then bearing in mind, you know, some people are on a particular type of contract. So they could be on a 18-month contract. Then they bounce into another job where the contract's probably 12 months or the contract's probably even 3 months. Wow. That's very interesting. Obviously, it depends on the job. Obviously, it depends on the sector. Obviously, but the fact that raw. But then you know what's yo, it's interesting how she had to move because of she felt at that time there was more job opportunities, better paid job opportunities in did she say Nairobi? So that's interesting to me. So leave your answer in the comment section below. Let me know if you're employed and did you have to do something similar, or if you're unemployed, do you feel like where you're looking for employment is hindering your employment opportunities? Let me know in the comments below, because that's a very interesting thing to know, because where I am, it's amazing because I'm like, raw, there's many job opportunities, aside from the job I have now, yeah, it's like if we're talking about college days, there was loads of job opportunities, especially in the area that I live or lived at that time. There's plenty. The question is, they will always question if you got experience. But how are you gonna get experience if you don't have experience? Can someone explain that to me? So I'm having flashbacks. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
And here we thought Gen Z starts in 2022. Unajua Gen Z cannot stay on a job for long. So 2 years you look for another job.
Yes. That wasn't 2 years. I think it was about, I stayed there for like 5 years.
Wow.
And then I was getting restless because your jobs, and those days jobs were really advertised for jobs for what they are. If you see an advert, and all jobs that time were being advertised in the newspaper.
Okay, and you could apply
and all my jobs through
you applied and got the job.
Jobs were advertised in the newspaper. You apply and you get shortlisted and get a job. All my jobs in my career, I got them through. I didn't have to know anybody, and I didn't know anybody.
Every job.
Wow. Employment is it's the word I'm trying to look for. Employment, careers. When it comes to employment, it's a very interesting journey that some individuals have, because some have it seem like they have it easy, some don't. And obviously every generation, in every more or less generation, there's a new type of technology where, do you know what I mean? This time, this way you're looking for a job. I remember there was one job I was looking for. This was before, way before I got this the job I'm working at now. And do you know what's mad? Like, I remember I went on this app, and it's funny because I can speak on this, based on just on experience, how technology can, or the way looking for work shifted. It went from, you see how she was mentioning about newspapers. See, I know there was a time in the UK, London, where you advertise a newspaper is cool. That's one thing. That still was about, don't get that twisted, in London, UK, because I was still doing that. I was still checking certain newspapers, do you know what I mean? Circling, I can call them, blah, 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 blah. Then it got to a point, and even just then as well, I was still handing out CVs. Do you get it? Handing out CVs, like going around like one high street or one, I forgot what they call it, but like there was like a shopping complex type of vibe. Handing out CVs, get me? And then it shifted technology where now they have an app. Obviously, no, sorry, my bad. Online websites, apply online. Then it shifted to apps. Then I remember this one app. I don't even remember. It's mad because I don't even remember. I don't know if I actually genuinely applied. I literally can't remember. I don't think I did. I think my CV was there and they saw my CV clearly and they probably just contacted me and then boom. Get me? Got the job. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep it moving. Then we move into another job that was more conducive for my not only just my experience, but it was my, I won't necessarily say dream job, but there was a time where it was a missed opportunity. Let's just say that. And God said, you know what? Yeah, you've had a really tough journey. Let me put you back on this vibe. Don't miss this opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And here I am. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Sorry.
Job you applied for, you got?
Not I got, but I didn't get all the jobs. But
you are shortlisted?
Through my career.
Yes, through your career?
Yes, I got the jobs I applied for, not all of them that I got, but the ones that I got eventually were with those that I applied for.
You got shortlisted?
Shortlisted, went for interview, and got an appointment letter.
Very nice. So, do you experience, what's your motivation for a job then? The higher salary or retirement? Or exposure?
No, for that time, for me actually, that time was a better paying job, because I realized where I was, it was a very big. I worked with a county. Those time it was called Municipal Council of Mombasa.
Okay.
It was a big organization, and growth was slow. To progress professionally was a slow process, and I would see jobs advertised for bigger paying positions. So for me, that time was pay that motivated me to look for a job outside Mombasa.
They used to advertise, when they advertise a job, they used to advertise the pay scale of the job.
They would
Alafu unaona, I actually qualify for this.
I said, hey, I qualify for this.
Okay.
So yes, I applied, I qualified, and the first, actually I was very, no. In fact, it wasn't the job. When I left Mombasa first, it wasn't the job in Nairobi. The first, when I left Mombasa, I was trying to get a job in Nairobi, but the job I got was in Meru. So I leave Mombasa. I'm still a young girl I think I had just had my first baby. And moved to Meru, a place I'd never been to. Completely different people, different culture, different weather too. That was, for me, that was a big...
yeah, that's a shift. That's because it's one thing to move to one location for employment, yeah, but it's another thing to move to another location for example, you move for employment, but you're not realizing that even if it's your first time, you're not realizing there's so many aspects that can change. The people around, you know what I mean, where you live, how your neighbors or whatever could be. Obviously, she mentioned the weather. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, if, for example, I know for plain example, in the UK, yeah, if anyone that lives in London, UK, was to move to another location, let's just say up north in the UK, I can't think of anywhere up north right at the moment. I should know this, but I don't at the top of my head right now. But if they were to move up north and they'd go to, actually, no, I can mention, yeah, even though is Scotland still part of the, I don't know. I mean, it's not Scotland, but let's just say, give me a second. I'm gonna do something. Give me a second. Let me see. Up north from London. Let's see. Okay, so up north from London generally means heading towards northern England for vibrant cities like Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, or Newcastle. Historic gems like York, Durham, or stunning nature, North York Moors. So the reason why I'm mentioning this here, I'm gonna say, for example, what's the question I was gonna ask? Does it snow more? No. Up north. Yes. In general, it generally snows more up north, higher latitude closest to the poles, because those regions are inherently colder, allowing precipitation to fall as a snow rather than rain, especially in the northern hemisphere, which has more landmass. Hold on. Let me do this properly. North of the UK. Yeah. Oh, Scotland into UK. Didn't know that. Anyway, yes, it generally snows more in the north of the UK, especially in Scotland and higher elevations due to colder temperatures and proximity, polar air, though significant snow depends on specific weather patterns, bringing moisture and cold air together. Scotland is the snowiest region, with mountainous areas experiencing regular snowfall, while southern England often sees less, sometimes only a light dusting. So this is why I'm like, Rod, you know what? It's very interesting how, if one was to live in London and they were to move to those areas, they're going to experience a shift. And even then, up north, the way people are in comparison to people in London, they're more friendlier, they're more outgoing. Do you know what I mean? They're more outgoing. When I say more outgoing, I literally mean the moment you step outside your house, do you know what I mean? They're ready to greet you. They're ready to have a conversation with you. But in London and UK, no, head down. Or do you know what I mean? Even I'm not gonna say they're always happy and chirpy. Don't get that twisted. But up north, but in London, screw face capital basically. You just like it literally is screw face capital. And I should know because I screw my face a lot and I don't know why. It's not like I don't know why I do it. I just naturally do it. But let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Major milestone and major decision that I made in my life to leave my comfort zone and go to a new place where I didn't know anybody. I didn't know a single person in Meru. I didn't even know where Meru was. It's like my parents are like, wow. Where are you going to? I see in a place called Meru. Where is Meru? We'll find it. And of course, they gave me direction with the letter of appointment. Luckily, the organization had an office in Nairobi.
The organization?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to work in Meru, but they had an office, a head office actually in Nairobi.
Yes.
But my job was in Meru.
Okay.
So I come and report to Nairobi, go do some orientation, and then about a week later, I'm on transport to Meru.
Wow.
So that for me was one of the major decisions, and that's how I think I got the courage to move on. After that, I'm a risk taker.
Yeah,
that was a big risk, and everybody was like, "Where are you going to?"
I can't just call her Mercedes. I have to call her auntie. She is fully a risk taker. Fully. Not even I'm a risk taker like that. She fully is a risk taker, you know. Hey, yo. Leave your answer in the comment section below. Are you a risk taker? Because if you're not a risk taker like Mercedes, sorry, like I said, let me call her auntie. If you're not a risk taker like auntie, I'm telling you, you're not a risk taker. You're just not a risk taker. You're just not.
Do you even know where Meru is? Those guys, people talking about Meru, people, they like fighting. You'll be killed there, and it's a very cold place, and it's true. When I arrived in Meru, it was cold. I never experienced that kind of cold.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? The irony, Meru. Let me find out it's up north for where. Hang on, I have to find it. Now I'm interested. Meru. Okay, Meru. Okay, Meru. Let's find this out. Where in Kenya? Hold on. Is Meru? Is it up north? Oh, let's see. Oh, it's the eastern region. Oh no, northeastern. Meru is located in central eastern Kenya on the northeastern slopes of Mount Kenya, and it's not considered a part of up northern Kenya in a general geographic or administrative sense. But either way, I do find it very interesting that despite it still says northeastern, it still, to know that it's cold up in areas is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's go.
But then I adapted. I made friends. It became a nice place for me. It's a nice organization to work with, actually. And
this is from municipal council. This we are talking government.
Yes.
And when you say organization, it rings non-governmental organization. This is your entry into the NGO world.
That's my entry into NGO. Wow.
What does it look like then? What was this organization dealing with? Because there's been a lot of conversation in terms of impact for the non-governmental organizations. How is the switch? What does this organization deal with?
Okay, there's a switch because this is non-governmental and this is mostly humanitarian to speak to touch the lives of particularly children. The target there was the children in vulnerable communities. So the programs were about children, supporting children with education, supporting communities that live within those where the children came from with basic needs like water, would drill for them water.
Wow.
Provide medicine in hospitals or expand the local dispensaries. But the focus of that NGO was children and how to improve their lives.
Yeah.
I like that. And I don't know if she answered the question, what motivated her to move to different jobs? Was it money? She did say money at one point at first, but then I don't think she mentioned what the second reason was and what the reason. Because now that she mentioned that, I'm pretty certain that could have been one of the key motivators. I could be wrong because she hasn't mentioned it, but it goes to it then goes into the question of, if you leave your answer in the comment section below, yeah, is that how you also choose the jobs that you want to do? Yeah, do you choose it based on the job role and what the organization is about, or do you do it based on just pay? Do you know what I mean? Because for me personally, I had to do it based on pay, but and where I work now, it just happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, and I can't without going into detail, and I can't really go into detail. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, let's just keep it moving now.
Orphans would be linked up with the foster parents who are the donors, then would be sending the contributions to support the children and their families.
This sounds like Plan International.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I don't. What are?
Wow. Look at that. I'm not saying, all right, look. You see where one of the organizations I used to work for, they would regularly work with other organizations like Plan International UK, well, international. They will also work with different type of charities and different organizations, and will raise money for them. So it's interesting hearing this. Like, it literally is. Like, it literally is interesting. Yo, look at God, man. Seriously, man. Let's go.
The odds. For real.
Oh, for real? Yes, it was. That time it was actually called Foster Parents Plan International.
Oh,
Foster Parents Plan International.
That was
Look
the
at
original
that.
name before they.
I don't even want to talk
they
too much about
rebranded
the
to Plan
situation.
International.
You are very modest ukisema an organization. Umesema plan mazi. Because I grew up in Embu, which is on your way to Meru. Yes.
I know.
And Plan was very big in Embu.
So actually, at that time, the head office was in Nairobi, and then there's the Embu and Meru. And actually, through my orientation from Nairobi, I had another like 2 week stay.
Try not to pause too
orientation
much,
in
not
Meru,
at a time.
in Embu, before I ended up in Meru. Yes.
How does this world, first of all, before we talk impact, how does this world change your perspective of life? You're being involved in the organization. There's so many things to go in. Upper number one, when you say orphans and vulnerable children, we're at a place where there are two things running in my mind. Okay, humanitarian support. There's been talk of the impact is not measurable. In fact, if it's measurable, it's in the negative. And number two, like it creates the enabler culture. It creates an enabling environment for people not to find.
That's what I've always
in terms of like by creating an organization to solve the issue of let's say vulnerable children. Okay, you are sorting the consequences of vulnerability rather than the cause of vulnerability. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are.
Like when you get to a community, unagundua, like let's say in Meru, there's a lot of children who are vulnerable. Okay, why are they vulnerable? Is it the Can we trace it to culture? Can we trace it to parenting? This sounds like we are not solving the cause. We are dealing with the consequences.
I like the way you think. I like the
Is
way
that
you
a
think.
right way to think?
And that's where the non-governmental organizations come in. They come initially to solve the consequence, to deal with the consequences first. That's a problem. But then in the process of the programming, then they're also dealing with the cause.
Okay.
In the process.
In the process. But initially, these children are vulnerable. They need help. They need to go to school. They need, you need to find a family that will take care of them. They need to eat. They need to get good education.
True.
Right?
True.
Yes.
As you're dealing with this, you're also engaging with the government, because it's the responsibility of the government to solve that problem, not the problem of the NGOs. So they're working with partners, and that's why NGOs, if you don't work with if there's any NGO that doesn't work with the government, then there's no impact. You must work with the government, because that's their responsibility. That's what they signed up for with their people. That's the oath that they took, that they'll put in safety nets for their people, so that those vulnerable
I have a question now.
groups are not forgotten.
And I'll
So
literally
actually, this NGO is telling the government, you know, there's a problem here. We are only helping here, but what are the policies you're putting in place to solve this problem?
Okay.
True.
Creates now sustainability, so that when the NGO finally leaves, then there's a system that continues with what had been started, or firefights, or solves it, so that it doesn't happen. And that's why there's always an exit strategy for any partner who makes interventions on behalf of the government. There must be because it's not forever. There's a time, and if you follow the plan, they actually move from place to place. They moved from Embu, went to other areas. They went to Thika, they went to Taita, they went to Kisumu. After what they deemed to have been sufficient time for them to have made impact. So when they leave, they don't want to leave that and leave the problem ongoing. By the time they leave, the government is actually has already taken over that problem, or has recognized that there's a gap.
I know I have to pause just for a minute, yeah, because I have to say this for, and I like to pause every 10 minutes now, just realizing what I need to do. All right, so the issue, not even the issue, yeah, because it's a thing of the fact that she mentioned it's the government's job to, do you know what I mean, to solve the problems, because they took the oath. But then I've always had this question in mind, and this goes to every other country in the world. Do you know what I mean? Every country in the world. Who told you that this? Is this a question, all right? And you can even answer the comment section below. Who told you that it's the government's job to solve the problems that are going on in your community? Leave your answer in the comment section below. Because growing up here, personally, and obviously living in the UK, London, UK, I don't recall in school, in primary school or secondary school or college, didn't go uni, but either way, I don't recall ever being told, and even by my you know, who the way I was raised, people in general, who, you know what I mean, they never told me these people are supposed to solve the problems. Although I sort of learn of thinking that way, if that makes sense, that they're supposed to. But then I've always had a question of how, why? Because it's supposed to be the people. I've always, not always, but I always feel like now, yeah, it's about the people. If you see a problem and you have an idea in your head, right? Present that problem. Sorry, present the solution to the problem. Because she mentioned that they work with the government, but then they have an exit strategy. But the issue is, the issue always is, I look at it, yeah. For example, me working in that charity organization, well, that doing sales, but getting raising funds or whatever, I look at it and I'm like, yo, is the money actually going to these places? And because why is it always a consistent thing? Do you see what I'm trying to say? And then you hear about corruption within these NGOs. I'm not saying Plan International has corruption because I don't know, but I'm saying I've heard certain organizations allegedly there's corruption. Then you're like, well, then you hear not only is there corruption, they've violated. And I'm not just talking about violated policies or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about violations allegedly. Again, I'm not saying no organization's name or anything like that. I'm just saying what I've seen and what I've heard. Now the thing is, the question now remains, how do we get out of that mentality? How do people get out of that mentality of thinking it's just about the government to solve the problem? Because I feel like the moment we get out of that mentality and we focus, I'll give you a case in point. Okay, I know he's not Kenyan, but he's Nigerian. All right, cool, whatever, yeah. Very dark, man. My wife showed me this the video, yeah. Several videos, by the way, where people were actually cleaning up their state in different states in Nigeria. I kid you not. Yeah, I think it was called the Rattel movement or something like that. Like, that's because of very dark, man. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But he's not a presidential elect. He's not a governor. He may have the nickname the youth president, yeah, and that's just a nickname. But like, he's not a government official. That's the point I'm trying to make. If we have more people that have that mindset to be able to say, all right, boom, this is our community, so we're gonna do. I'm not saying the government shouldn't help or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But it's a high time we take control. We take the power back. Because think about it. Before, do you know what I mean? Before colonialism and then post-colonialism, we had our own communities. Like, we had our own proper, I'm not going to say our communities are not proper now, but like, we had our own communities that were governed in a certain way. And that worked. All right, cool. It got to a point where there was colonialism, but that's a different day for another story. But at the same time, for a number of years, decades, centuries, that system or those systems worked. But let's keep moving. Let's go.
And so how do you feel it as government? Are we going to do it on our own? Are there the players who can now come in and carry it? Or efficiently to be able to stand on their own?
Very nice. Very nice. I would like to explore impact kidogo, but just to give a background, what was your career progression like in the NGO world? Because this is one place you did not skip, I can guess. Okay? What was your career progression in the NGO world?
That exposure now gave me the wings to be more marketable, because now I was already had moved to a senior positions already when I went there to plan. I was an executive officer.
Wow.
Yes.
At plan, and that environment opens your eyes and your mind to other opportunities and other like-minded organizations. And so yes.
For those who don't know, plan, with the image I have in my mind, when you say executive, that is, for non-government, that's like president.
Yeah. That's why it was
that's just figurative.
That's a big nuance. He's saying it casually.
So it opens your mind to
it opens your minds, and it exposes you more than where I was in my previous job. And so it's very easy to if you are a risk taker like I was to to look for other and say, okay, now this is Meru, I think I need to be near Nairobi, because Nairobi is where I ultimately wanted to be. But
your target is Nairobi. You are in Mombasa, but they threw you to Meru through Embu, but you're still targeting Nairobi.
Yes, and I loved my exposure and experience in Meru, a small town. I had that's my first time to live away from home, but also in a small town. And small time life was, I realized later, was really good compared to living in a big town.
That's where I was going next, because I would imagine with an executive salary in Meru, you shouldn't even dream of Nairobi. Did you have that experience? It hits you after you get to Nairobi, if you go to Nairobi.
It hits you because, I was young, I still have a young family, and my family was scattered all over the place. So I needed to make sacrifices to be close to my family.
Fair enough.
I left part of my family in Mombasa, my husband was in Nairobi, I am in Meru. So here was this triangle, and I had to make that sacrifice. And so that exposed me to now look for other jobs in Nairobi.
Okay.
And I did get a job and my job in Meru was also contractual. So when the contract ended, I said, okay, let me.
That's what I started looking
for the jobs before the contract ended. And
you started looking for a job before the contract ended?
Yes,
yeah, it makes sense.
I wanted to go to Nairobi. I didn't want to stay that long. And so I did.
How hard is it to get another opportunity in Nairobi that rewards as the opportunity you had in Meru?
In life, you've got to make compromises. So it's not about just all the time that it must be higher than. Sometimes you even take you can take a lesser paying job just for the sake of family. And women do that. We do that quite a lot. So
lesser paying job because of family.
Yeah. And
that's a conscious decision.
Yes, it's a conscious
What does that
decision.
look like?
If you ask women, they will not be surprised. Many of us have made, and there's still women, even now, people are making sacrifices. Even where I am, I've made right now.
It makes sense.
Where I am,
if your husband is making more money, obviously.
So it's not always about money.
Is.
There's more than money that drives decisions in life.
Anyone who says it's not about money,
it's not,
on this platform is a billionaire. Trust me. Anyone who does say it's never about money. Trust me, you can go check our episode.
No, not necessarily. Because it can be about money in the heart. You can be a millionaire in your heart.
I hear you.
Anyway, fast forward. I moved to got a job in Nairobi.
Another organization.
And from then on, now I moved into NGOs. Another organization, then another organization, then finally the place where I stayed. Even my mom, she told me, my daughter, you're moving too much. This is enough. Don't move anymore. Like every 3 years, I think I'll be on a new job.
Yeah.
And I thank God because the opportunities were good. I can't complain. And each one of them just strengthened me and I learned. And let me tell you something interesting. When during the time I was in my job in Meru is when the era of computers came in.
Okay, let's go.
Computers and that started were introduced around that time. So,
to give context, 94, 95?
94, 95, yeah, in the early 90s.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
Early 90s. Okay.
Yeah, it's early 90s.
Just to give context.
Yes.
It's when the era computers have been introduced.
Computers are being introduced. First of all, those big mainframe things, big.
Yes.
They were massive back then. That with the big black.
Very complex. Very. It's changed. The way the administrative work was done, because people before were using typewriters, and initially there were manual typewriters. Then we moved to electric typewriters. Then there was something else in between. There was a manual, then electric IBMs, then some electric. I don't know what's. Then now it's computers. You've got to learn this.
So you are moving with this technology as it changes.
As it changes.
Okay.
And that is a message that I really need to tell people. Because I'm telling you, I saw my colleagues literally quitting their jobs because they just could not adapt.
I thought the computer should be easier to work with compared to the typewriter.
Not necessarily.
Initially, it was complex. And you know, it's also in the mind. Initially, it was very complex. Oh, right now, you guys just get a tablet with a keyboard and you're just doing this. No. Those days, using a computer, you had to do,
with feet.
Control what. Yeah,
Oh, it's not with your feet. What do you mean complex? Nafikiria ilikuwa computer ya kukanyanga. Unajua ukisema keyboard is keyboard bana.
No, it's not.
Keyboard.
Keyboard back then.
The systems, you actually had to learn from the systems how the computer operating. It was called an operating system.
Yes.
You got to learn that first, and you just get complex, and you're lost there. What's all this operating system? It wasn't necessary now on hindsight, but at that time it was a curriculum that you had to learn. Your first operating is called DOS. I can't even remember what. I know OS stands for.
That's before
system.
Microsoft penetrates the market. Yes.
Before Microsoft came in. And then now you start learning now the Microsoft version. I can't remember what it was called then. Word processing. It was called word processing. And it wasn't easy just dialing keyboards. There were formulas that you had to put on to use. You had literally had to go to school and learn and do exams.
Okay.
And you'd have one computer in the whole block that everybody is sharing. And of course, those who were and you've got to be trained. And it's one thing to be first learners, then would come and they start training other people. And for some people, it was just too complex for them to adapt. And they said, especially those who had almost reached advanced ages, they said, this one I'm not going to.
I hear it.
So you did learn.
Yes,
I hear it.
did learn. And I learned it very quickly. I was one of the first learners, and I was teaching my other colleagues.
And how does that change your life?
Tremendously, because now
got another skill.
At that time, if you knew how to operate a computer, it was like it was a profession. Like
knowing how to operate a computer. Hey, that
yes.
shows how much opportunities have changed.
You guys don't know how much.
Just knowing how to operate a computer.
Yes, just knowing how to operate a computer, there are people who were fast learners and they were behind, but because they picked it very quickly, they got promoted very quickly.
Wow. That was enough for a promotion.
Oh yeah, that was
just
enough.
Knowing how to operate a computer.
Because even your boss didn't know how to operate a computer.
So why is he the boss? So you should be the boss because you know how to operate a computer.
And that time there will be one computer, like I said, shared. Maybe the whole department has got one.
Yes.
So the work will still be brought and shared with. Oh, this is the person who knows how to do. And knows how to troubleshoot and so on and so forth. And
at that time, do you know? Do you have the concept of value based on what you know? Does knowledge equate to value? In this sense, I came here as a secretary. I know how to operate a computer. It's a limited skill. I charge based on this.
No, that time none.
Then, Basi, why are you saying hot cake inakujia wapi if it's not attached to money?
No, see, this is interesting. Because I look at it, and I'm like, raw. You know, just because obviously I wanna just get my thoughts out, be real quick. So it's like, ain't it interesting how, like I was saying earlier, I was literally talking about how technology changes, but the fact that she had to learn quickly, and some people not learn quickly like that, but the fact that she learned quickly is one thing, but she didn't give up. She didn't say, you know what, this is for me. And a lot of people, not a lot, but some people gave up. They said, this ain't for me. It's too complex. And it speaks volumes. And I feel like the lesson here, just if I could give a lesson, the vital lesson in this is simply always stay learning. Stay up on game when it comes to technology in the company that you work for, or even if you're not employed, stay up in game in whatever the new technology is. Learn, because once you got that skill, and it's a skill set. Skills pays bills. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Hot cake inakuja wewe unajua kufanya computer, yes. So even at the job in your office, you are sought after. And if you're looking for a job elsewhere, the first thing they'll ask you, they will ask you for your other academic qualifications, even if you had them,
skills.
is computer skills. And this changed the whole career as we knew it then of secretaries. And that time, you can see the secretarial training has literally died. It died, and it died gradually. People didn't realize it. So those who moved very quickly, the computers remained. But the old secretarial career, the way we understood it and the way we were trained in those days, changed dramatically. Wow. So people who remained behind and didn't want to embrace change, they were left by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, a whole career became redundant, and everybody now started coming from college. From now, computers being taught in colleges. Students come from college who learn other things, but then they take up those positions that were previously secretarial. Now they've been expanded and they are administrative. So the profession expanded and changed into something else.
Wow. Okay.
And now we really have a college that will just teach secretarial right now. It's going to expand or they die.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my journey, and that was my first decision to leave my comfort zone in Mombasa at the time when it wasn't common to do that. It was not common at all.
And it's very possible that you could have stayed in Mombasa, be comfortable, earn a salary, and target retirement.
Yes. Very possible. I still have friends who stayed there until they retired.
To the end?
Yeah. And they were very happy still.
I mean, hey, it's what it is. If you're happy, you're happy.
So you mentioned, the only organization we've mentioned is Plan. But once you got into the NGO world, it was the NGO world to the end.
It was the NGO world to the end.
Okay.
And,
yes. Did you rise to the creme de la creme of NGOs of that time? The United Nations?
Yes, I did. And that's why I retired just a few years ago.
Let me give context.
Yes.
Let me give context.
I never really
there's a podcast, Not Financially Incorrect, where they interviewed one of a popular entrepreneur in Kenya called Tony Ndongo. And Tony talks about how he got an internship at UAR in 2004, and it was such a big deal. Internship. You had a job at the UN. What is this like when you got a job? How do you pivot to the UN? Experience in the NGO world? Again, are we still talking opportunities were available, not that many people are qualified for them?
No. And by the time I was transitioning to the UN, again, I think the systems worked, which is what I feel sorry that they don't work as well as they did. The opportunity would be advertised. And I applied from my the previous NGO job. And once you get in the NGO world, and it's almost similar to what is happening the work of the UN, only at a higher level. So in terms of qualification and preparedness, I had everything that was needed for a job in the UN, and it reached a point where. I've done several NGOs, and now I said if I have to stop running, I'm looking for a job at the UN. So I was intentional about looking for a job at the UN. Very intentional. Yes. And so I applied for the jobs there. The jobs were advertised. I applied. I was called for interview. Those days in the UN, actually, they had a system where they would shortlist you, and you'd be shortlisted and interviewed, and if you qualified, they'd put you on a roster, even if they didn't have jobs then.
Okay.
They still do that now, but not much. But they would do batch hiring, and you'd be told that yes, you've qualified, but you don't have an opening now. When there's an opening, we'll invite you.
They have a pending list of people. So ukiwa kwa pending list at the UN, and kwanza it's funny, I wonder what your former employers would feel watching you now, knowing that every time they saw you in the office, you are a passing cloud.
For real.
So if the UN calls you kwa pending list, umesha apply chini ya maji. If they call you,
Yes.
are you guys? You guys, it's been good. As in, why you, that was not formal language there.
Yeah. No, first of all, you'd get the appointment letter, and then you have. I mean, I was very professional in all my jobs. If I went back now, they would take me back because I didn't leave. I would make sure I gave the notice that was required. If there was a replacement, that I would train my replacement if there was one. And I was available to come if you want. I left before a replacement was found, I was ready to come back and say I'll spend a day or two just to do an orientation for the new person.
Oh, for real?
I can see why they hire.
Never quit like Gen Zs do.
No.
On emotions.
No.
Like how they feel now.
Because I never quit in protest. No, I never quit in protest. I always left, got a job, got my letter of offer. In fact, I remember when I was going to the UN, actually, it was a discussion I had with my boss. And I said, look, there's this opportunity. I've applied for it. I'm actually going for interview today. And she said, you got my blessings.
And what do you have to say about the thing, your counter offer? Like, you're so valuable to the organization that they're like, how much are they paying you? We'll match that.
In one of the jobs I had, actually an account offer was made. But I said, look, the time is for me to move.
How good was the counter offer?
It was equivalent to what I was.
To what you are getting. Please demystify this for us. Word is that when you get a counter offer, don't take it not because you're tired of the place, but because it's a ploy now to fire you officially. You know, there's a sweetness. There's a sweetness to firing someone. Like, how are you quitting?
Yeah, how are you quitting? We should be firing
pay you. Yes, let's pay you, then buy some time, we get someone to replace you, and then we get the pleasure of firing you. Is there truth to that? Should one take a counter offer, or it should still be looked at with suspicion?
I think it's a personal decision. It depends on the organization. You've been there, you know, the people, are they genuine, and are they able to make that decision? Because sometimes you could be having a boss who isn't able to make that decision then for you. It could be depending on the structure of the organization. But also for me, it depends on the commitment I've already accepted the other offer. And for me now to go back and say, oh, now I've changed my mind. But then in this particular one, the one when I was joining the UN, I discussed with my boss, and she agreed with me and said, yes, we're in a place where with your qualification, we don't see growth, because for all the time I needed, you need to look at the organogram of the organization you are in. What is the organization structure for you to grow? Don't just go in just because you're going. That's why some people take lower jobs just because there are opportunities for growth, rather than staying in one place where you've reached your peak and it's very flat. So you can end up there until you retire.
That's a very strong strategy. I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah, you have to.
When you look at an organization you'd like to work for,
yes,
you'd rather look at a lower grade so that you can grow.
Look at the structure. Is there room for growth or not? There must be an organization structure which is, this is the CEO, and these are the deputy directors, and these are the line managers, and these are the supervisors.
So I can start as a cleaner for inspirational purposes.
You can. Because you see
that said so calmly,
and it works. Because you've seen that if I stay in this organization, I can, if it's a matter of experience, they want, if they need more certification, I can go to school and get another certificate, and I know if I apply, once I get this certificate, I can apply for this job. And get it. Because I've planned for it. And then maybe in another 5 years, I'm going to be that there's a managerial position there that I can get. But if you go to a position where growth is very flat, you are in a place where, after this level, there are only two, maybe above, then the chances of you getting one of those two is slim.
But what about being so good at the number 3 position?
Wow. Auntie Risk Taker, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna call her Auntie Risk Taker. All right, hear me out. By the way, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications. If you want me to see more content like this is coming. Because even me personally, I'm actually learning. I'm genuinely learning. I'm actually in awe and amazed. Auntie Risk Taker is a real one. Because it made me, that part there just made me think. It's literally making me think. Because it's a good, to mention, it is a strategy. It is a strategy. But my next question for her then is what about interviews? Because you know them ones where you go up another level, then there's like or you go up a certain level, you apply for that role, and even though you apply for that role, you do the interview, you may pass the interview, but you don't necessarily get the job yet because there's another interview to pass. And then you have to pass, and if you pass that interview, there's another interview to pass, and then you got the job. Or do you get a point I'm trying to make? Not to put fear into anyone in regards to that, but I'm always wary of if it's worth your time going into a situation like that. But she made a very, very valid point, and wow. And then also with the counter offer thing, that's what I was going to mention. I remember I used to watch, and I may watch it now and again, but anyway, basically there was a podcast I used to watch. I'm not going to say no names, is what it is, but like one of them, I believe, in fact, yeah, one of them used to work where they used to work. I believe it was them or one of their guests, but basically they mentioned that before leaving, they mentioned it was a situation again, a counter offer, and they accepted it. They accepted the counter offer, and then eventually they got sacked or something like that. I can't remember the story verbatim, and I could be wrong about telling that particular story, but I'm sure I've heard of a story like that. I'm sure I have, and I could be completely wrong. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Yeah, shout out to Auntie Risk Taker. Let's go.
You probably, because you introduce a very interesting concept that I've never thought of. Don't just look for a job because you need to pay bills.
No, unless you are comfortable with stagnation. And normally, if you are a hot blood like the Gen Zs are hot blood, you don't want to stay in one position for 10 years, just marking time. You're gonna get tired, and you're gonna get demoralized, demotivated. You are doing the same thing year in, year out, getting the same salary 10 years down the line, 15 years down, 20 years down the line. And many people who stay, I know, who stay in one position for 20 years, by the time they're retiring, really,
the same job role.
They're just doing it for money, but not for
There's different variations to this, okay? Suppose a government employee has stayed in the same position for 40 years, earning 20K, but marupurupu.
Yes.
They are earning more than the president. Would you judge that person for being on the same spot?
No, I wouldn't, because yeye anajua mahali marupurupu inatoka. Yeye anajua. So mbona tu na mark time lakini yeye anajijua na ana grow.
Okay, one of my favorite comedians, anaitwa Mbote Njogu. Mbote Njogu says that for him, he did a skit about it actually. You'd rather get him a job where he earns 20,000 shillings per month, na akona marupurupu, than give him $500,000 na hana marupurupu. So basic growth.
So for him, that's his growth too.
So you can grow at the same spot.
Yeah, if that's their marupurupus, and there are people who have even refused. I know people like I've worked with, and I want to give an example of drivers, particularly in NGOs. Drivers in NGOs have lots of field travel. So you are a driver with a fixed salary, but your marupurupus for travel in one month, you get like 3 times your salary out of your allowances.
They cannot take a promotion.
So, in fact, I remember in one of the organizations, we had a position of a supervisor, the transport supervisor. And these drivers, none of them wanted to take the job.
Why?
Because now you're a supervisor.
They don't want to be their own boss.
Because now you're a supervisor, you are not going to be behind a vehicle. You're not going to be traveling. And that means lost earnings. And nobody wanted to be a supervisor.
And nobody thinks to negotiate for a better pay as a transport supervisor.
It's a better pay automatically. Definitely it's a better pay.
But they would rather eat.
Yes,
there's fun. There's something sweet
Maybe it's the
about
perception
much more. Marupurupu is much more than even the.
even if it's the same amount.
The Marupurupu is much more than the salary the supervisor will earn, which is a package a little bit more than the drivers. And you have got responsibilities. You got your office and so on.
Wow.
Because Marupurupu pasini mingi. And so that works for them. That's okay.
Okay. So now the motivation, and I'm shocked that I've never thought about this, the motivation to look for a job should not just be the salary peke yake.
No.
So either you understand the system,
Yes.
if haina Marupurupu, you look for growth elsewhere.
You look for growth elsewhere, where you're going to grow. Because you're seeing yourself, you've got 20, 25, 30 years to retirement. You also want to grow in the organization. You want to be a manager, you want to be the CEO. You've got vested interest. So if you just go there for money and not for growth, if you don't look at the growth element, you might get disappointed.
Wow.
If you don't look at the growth
Yes.
element. But Sasa, for you say that there are areas that you've had to take a pay
I
cut.
feel like I have to say it to my brother.
You already.
It's one of them.
So is it because, let's say, in an organization you've noticed that there's no room to rise above where you are, so you'd rather take a pay cut to another organization that gives you room to grow?
Yes.
Wow.
I didn't quite. It just that it was a lateral move. So there was I didn't lose money, but I didn't gain in that move.
Oh, you didn't lose
Yes,
money, but you
yes.
didn't gain.
Yes.
But for this other platform, it had an opportunity to.
To grow. But then, like I'm telling you, then down the last job where I lasted in the UN, there was growth financially, but also there was growth in terms of career progression.
Okay.
And I sat down with my boss and it's
This
always
is
good
making
to have
me
a
look
good,
at my
relationship with your boss.
employment
And
right now,
I said, this is what I'm thinking.
Even more different.
And she was also,
being
it was also a
super
lady
grateful.
boss. And a lot of times people say women bosses are not good. And I had a very good female boss, a woman boss. We sat down and I said, and she told me, yes, I know your potential. And from what I know, what I see, this the growth is very limited. It's going to take a long time to move. So you have my blessings.
Wow.
But then that's a good point that you bring at a good relationship with your boss. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Really-
That's very interesting because what's a good relationship with the boss?
Good
Is
question.
it boss worship?
I want to hear a perception on that.
No?
Can you survive in corporate and in employment without boss worship?
Yes.
How?
Being professional.
Sasa, some bosses don't like professionalism. Your professionalism, upeleke huko mbali.
Being professional means you're doing your work the way that the work that has been assigned to you, you're doing it well, even over and above expectation. That's number one. So that you create dependence, that when you're not there, everybody's looking for Masidis. Where is she today?
So that's
Because there's something she does in this docket that even the boss doesn't know, depends on her.
okay.
And
Is that being so good or working in secret? There's something you know that when you're not there, they can't do.
No.
Those are your assets. In comedy, we call that madogi. Like,
Hizi
you have
madogi
hidden
zangu.
assets. Hizi ni madogi zangu. These
Oh,
are
so
my
it's
secret
to me,
weapons
that's
of
comedy.
operation.
Alright,
It's a very
fair
good
game.
survival tactic. It's very different
Makes
from...
sense.
you have
Brother,
to make yourself
hilarious.
indispensable. Anyway, I'm
Like that.
already finishing this statement. Should be my end statement. In your working career, wherever you are, you must make yourself indispensable
Unfireable.
and fireable. That if you have got to be fired, there must be a meeting and everybody will be like, what's happened? Because you are very professional, you are very ethical, you are, you do your things beyond expectation.
Give you an example. You're a police officer
Yes.
you decide to be professional.
Yes.
Okay? You're the only one who does not take bribes. That
Yes.
is your being professional.
Yes.
Okay? That makes you indispensable. You are like, in terms of how systems operate.
Yeah. Now that's the other side, the flip side. I don't have that kind of experience, but yes, let's try. Let's try.
So, does the Kenyan employment sector offer, this only happens in the private sector. You're so professional, right, that you don't conform to ile kitu ya do what the Romans do. This is not to mean that all police officers are corrupt. I sincerely have had the experience with seriously and super professional police officers. But I just understand how difficult. In fact, the Interior Minister recently said that it is Kenyans who pressure policemen to take bribes. So they only take and then they
it's
go
not
to
just
repent
in Nigeria
later.
that police take bribes.
Because it's the
Somebody,
circumstances.
allegedly.
Understand? And that's debatable.
Yeah,
that's
that's
debatable.
And there's ones
So,
in anyway.
are you
Watch
saying
America
kuna
stuff.
one level,
Allegedly.
yeah, being so good at what you do?
I'm telling you, hard work, ethical work gets noticed anywhere, including the police force. Even if they don't say it, your boss knows that if I leave, if I'm not there, and so and so is to stand in for me, I know that they'll do the right thing. I know that I can send them. I know that I can rely on that person. And you wonder why is every time so and so being sent. Normally, it's not because of the wrong things, because the boss wants the right things to be done. He wants the results, because the boss as a boss as a boss.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
hard work, ethical practices, being disciplined, being respectful, they pay anytime. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are. And I can tell this with authority.
You tell a very different story, because I, first of all, am shocked that when I look into history, as early as 1900, people are talking about unemployment.
Yes.
As is tukirudi mpaka 1960, 1969, okay? I've read Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga's book. We were dealing with unemployment in 1969.
Yes.
Tusonge mbele kidogo, I think pia Duncan Degwa, the first governor of the central bank, I think he also mentioned something about creating employment na vitu kama hizo. Ukirudi, as ata 1990s, extreme unemployment, we want to solve unemployment.
Let me pause this for a minute, yeah, because the way she's broke stuff down, and the fact that she's completely right about going above and beyond. And I'm gonna talk from experience, even though it's not necessarily a promotion type of thing or moving to another organization type of thing, but naturally, naturally, do you know what I find very, very, very interesting? I remember when I was part of a different team in an organization that I work for now. It wasn't the fact that I was going above and beyond just because I wanted to get recognition and all that stuff there or whatever. Like, it was never that. I never had. I don't know, for some reason the strategy she had, or I want promotion. That's another story for another day. But like, I never went above and beyond because of that. I don't know. I just doing my job basically, and if I was doing it, and if I was doing well, I was doing well. But the point I'm trying to make is, in that team where I was doing extremely well, like when that manager ended up not being available. I don't know if they went on holiday. I don't know what happened, whether they went on a break or annual leave or whatever the case is. They put me in charge. And I kid you not, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. I kid you not. At first, I was completely baffled and confused why they left me in charge. It may only have been for 3 days. But the first day I was completely confused. But it gave me some experience. And I appreciate it a lot. But it's just making me realize I need to get back to that mentality. Do you understand? Because, like, you get to a point where you just get complacent. You're not complacent like that on purpose, but you just get complacent. I feel like I've got into that zone But when I return back to work, God willing, when I say return back to work, because listen, I don't want to say what it is because it's live and it goes on a replay. But all I'm gonna say is, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So naturally, I'm gonna try and do my best to go above and beyond. Do you understand? That's what I'm gonna do. But anyway, let's just keep it moving. Let's go.
Tell a different story.
Yep.
You have never missed a job. Like there's no time in your life that hey, we don't have work. Akuna.
And I consider myself lucky.
You consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, but also the environment is not the same. The population was lower than we are now. That time even going to university was limited and the spaces were very limited. Right now there are so many universities. We had only the University of Nairobi.
That's interesting.
For the longest time before Kenyatta then came in, and now we have universities all over the place with campuses literally in every town. So education is easy, and higher education is more accessible, and therefore we are churning out the professionals at a much higher rate than before.
Okay,
so during our time getting professional certification, put you a little higher up, and the systems worked. If there was a job opportunity, it was for real that they needed a person. It wasn't just cosmetic that we are doing it for our files that to show and you already have somebody, or we already have somebody in mind. They really
I feel like some companies do that. They do this recruitment process.
Now things have changed,
but they're not really recruiting.
The demand is higher than supply.
It is my submission. Tell me if this is a fair submission, that nothing has changed. If as early as 1900, we had economies like the US talking of unemployment.
Yes.
There was a time, in fact, pre-war and post the Second World War, actually, I think Akina Germany are flat. And I think the World Bank comes into play to help people rebuild after the war.
Yes.
Right? There are countries that we started with on the same pedestal in the 1960s that less than 20 years, in fact, before Jomo Kenyatta leaves power, South Korea, for example, was 40 times, the economy was 40 times bigger than Kenya. Okay? Wow. So now, when I say things have not changed, is it that the system has failed us or things have not changed? Because you would argue that there are more opportunities now, okay, but people are not trained for the opportunities. The computer, for example, was a limited skill, right? But right now, it's the inverse. The people who don't know about computers right now are probably equal to the people who knew about computers when computers came. Like it has switched. Like more people know about computers than those who don't know compared to your time. So, and the opportunities that e-commerce presents, the opportunities, probably people have been, like we have not changed. We have not adapted to the times. And I think we can blame the system to this. I'll quote someone else in another context. In regard to failures of an institution like marriage in the present day world, Anne Degwa, the wife to the first central bank governor, she writes that marriage seems to fail because women have changed over time, but men have refused to change. Understand? So in that context, tukirudisha kwa employment and opportunities, it's easy to say that you are lucky, right? But is it that the systems have changed, but we have not changed? The system that creates opportunities, the system that sets the mindset of people has not changed. Otherwise, opportunities are still there.
He's right.
I would differ a little bit.
Yes.
Qualify when I say that I was lucky. I wasn't just among the few lucky. There were many people that were lucky. A few were not as lucky. But if you needed a job, at that time when you finish, like I say, finish school, just needed a job. The opportunities were there more than now. That one I can tell you for a fact. And I say this because the market forces of supply and demand are organic. the supply and demand in any market economy, they find their own equilibrium.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes.
In the current space, it's not there.
How though?
That space,
Isn't that a
that time when
mindset?
I was young, when I was growing up, starting to work, if you possessed post high school certification, the chances are very high that you'll even be sought after, or you'll apply for jobs and get, because there are not so many people who had them. Yeah, the level of higher education was limited. There are places, there are people, actually people would be taken, or you heard of the American airlift.
Yes. Airlift program, yes.
People were airlifted to go and study and come back to jobs. You know?
And come back.
Yes, they would be airlifted to go and study and come back and rebuild this country. So that shows you that the number of those who were qualified beyond high school were few. So they'll be sought after if you had your certificates, your degrees. The government would invest highly in training you,
yes,
and then giving jobs in the civil service, which doesn't happen now because that space is not there. There's no that vacuum anymore.
Yes.
Now there are more people with certificates than the opportunities that are available. So now you've got to struggle. You've got to think of other ways, and you're told don't wait to be
Are these man-made
employed for a white collar job, because that time everybody was waiting for a white collar job. Right now, the message is to young people, and here I am right now a politician, and I'm in an environment where I cannot even promise or you tell them you go and apply for this job and you'll get it, because even those jobs are not even advertised, and when they get advertised, there's too few compared to what is available, and those are formal jobs, right?
Yes.
Formal. I'm talking about formal jobs.
Yes.
Now that mindset shift needs to happen now, so that this current generation doesn't sit and wait.
Of course not.
To be sought after, because they will not be.
You brought my point even closer. Isn't this to mean that yes, the opportunities were few then, okay? So instead of creating more opportunities, our education system has been creating more people for the same opportunities that were there then, without creating more opportunities.
It's the mindset.
Exactly.
So we've been training, yes, people have more certificates because we've been training people for the same limited opportunities that you had.
Just pause there. For many years, we would be training teachers from TSC, teacher training colleges, yes, TSC, and they were sure jobs. They were just, you didn't have to think, but that's why many people actually went into the teaching profession, because it's one profession or career path that the moment you finished,
you get a job
immediately. We were training doctors who were very sure that the moment you finish your training, you don't even think twice. We were training engineers. The moment they finished their training, they've got their jobs already. But that doesn't happen anymore. You've got teachers now who finished school. They've got their degrees. In fact, that time it used to be certificate P1, P2, P3. It became diploma. Now it's your degrees and masters, and they're sitting at home. So what you are very right when you say that you're training more people for opportunities that have not expanded.
Yeah.
So at the rate at which we are churning out prospective employees or job seekers is higher than the job creation in the market. The government is saturated. The government is the biggest employer. It's saturated.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm glad we agree.
We agree.
So now, in the NGO world, one of the most common theme that seems, and I think this ties to what you're doing now, politics, one of the themes that ties to what you're doing and what you did is the fight against poverty. Against poverty, for the most part.
Yes.
The common enemy is poverty.
Yes.
Facts.
What have you learned about poverty in your experience up until now that we're talking?
First
of all, how do you define poverty?
Good question.
You've said you can be a billionaire at heart, right?
You can be a billionaire at heart, you can be poor, but the definition of poverty for a long time by the UN standard was any individual that lives below $1
a day.
That's mad that she just mentioned that, because it makes you wonder, what is poverty? Leave your answer in the comment section below. What do you believe poverty is to you? How do you define it? But yeah, other than that though, I had to pause for a minute because I just realized, you see that conversation there on about the education, it's like it makes sense. So the question now should be, how do you change that education system? And not only that, how do you create, or who is responsible for creating the employment opportunities? Because if she's mentioning the government is the biggest employer and it's saturated, then the question then becomes, okay, what other sectors or industries can be created for job opportunities, to the point where with those job opportunities comes education to train for those opportunities. Do you get where I'm coming with this? So yeah, but let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Lifestyle, $1 per day.
So if you make more than, to put that into context,
yes,
if your budget is above 129 shillings, you're not poor.
You are not in the lower, that is the real lower level of poverty. If you are earning below $1, of course, then you graduate a little bit. But the real definition of someone who is really poor is anyone who earns less than $1 per day.
That's the real meaning.
And so that's 129, about 126, 130 per day. And there are very many people who don't earn that in a day. That makes that 129 in a month, that's about 5,000 probably. 5,000 shillings a month.
Yes.
There are many who don't earn that.
True.
Many.
True.
And so in the world that I've seen poverty situational. It's a poverty cycle. You're born into poverty.
Please explain that. That's too strong.
Right. Obviously, I don't like to pause as often, yeah, but we're gonna swing over here for just a slight minute, yeah. Poverty, yeah, and we're gonna look at the etymology, yeah. Traces from Latin "paupertas," small means need, via Old French "pauvreté," stemming from poor, meaning the core sense. Give me a second, people. All right, sorry about that, people. All right, so in fact, I've got to do this now. All right, so look, where was he? So poverty, yeah, its etymology traces from Latin "paupertas," small means need, via Old French "pauvreté," stemming from pauper, poor, meaning the core sense is a lack of resources, but it evolved to describe the state of lacking essentials, dignity, opportunity, or even poverty of wit, scarcity of intellect. Therefore, it just essentially means lack of resources. You understand? Which makes more sense because you cannot have money, physical. You may not have money, but then even if you don't have money, give me a second, people. You may not have money, but like the reality is, if you don't have money, where was the one? All right, so if you don't have money, but you're in a situation where you don't even have food, you understand? And even if you don't have, and you can live in an area where the agriculture is not necessarily there, so that's that could be defined as poverty because you're lacking resources. But anyway, let's keep it moving.
Too strong. Situational poverty.
Yeah, I would call it situational poverty because you found yourself in that system. You found yourself born into poverty. And then there's also an externally provoked poverty where war, conflict can suddenly make you or move you from being a millionaire to living in a refugee camp.
Yeah, true. There's that. Yes.
Yeah, so that one is, I'll call it man-made because it wasn't
man-made. Oh.
Yeah, that's my language.
Man-made. I used that term earlier. Man-made.
You call it unprovoked.
I used that term earlier.
It is unprovoked. It's cyclical because it runs normally from in the family.
It runs. It's we can call it genetic poverty.
Genetic poverty.
No, it's something you inherited. This is your inheritance.
You found yourself in poverty. You're born into poverty, and therefore the poverty is passed on. I don't know, they call it genetical. It's not in your genes. Poverty will not be anybody's genes.
Generational.
Okay. Generational. So from
the
one
opposite
generation
of generational wealth.
Yes. The opposite of generational wealth.
Yes.
So this is generational poverty. Just like wealth is passed on generationally, so is poverty. So you found yourself born in a poor family, and therefore resources and opportunities are difficult. And that's where most of where I am right now. Most of it is generational poverty. But I've worked in unstable societies where people. I worked in the refugee camps in Kakuma, Dadaab. You see people who have been reduced to zero, who had their lives going on because of war.
I've had a relationship with UNHCR for 5 years when I was at Nation. So you have also seen people who have dealt with this man-made poverty.
Yes.
Someone who had everything and then.
Yes.
That's deep.
I've had colleagues I worked with in the UN that were in Rwanda during the genocide, and they flew, or they were running for. They did run for their lives in refugee camps, and these were UN staff.
Damn.
And it's devastating that this can happen. It can happen to anybody, anytime. It can happen to us. And in Kenya now, we almost got to that point.
Yes. So now, in terms, there are two people here.
Yeah.
There's someone who is experiencing, kuna hiyo situational poverty, kuna man-made poverty. Yeah. So situational ni wewe is okay for the people who believe in reincarnation. It's let me not go there. Okay. So now, for he man-made, say for war, for example, let's discuss mindset hapa kidogo.
Yes.
If someone was rich in another country, okay, then they come in as a refugee. How strong is a mindset that someone can be able to rebuild from scratch to be a millionaire in another environment, to recover what you had in another country,
Good question.
right? How big of a mindset, how big of a role does mindset play in a context like this?
Everything. It's all in the mind.
True.
Everything is in the mind. If the person and I've seen, in fact, I think, I don't know that the studies have been made, but you find that those who were rich then and started afresh, those who pick themselves up and don't despair into depression, those who pick themselves up really turn around and start accumulating wealth again.
Start accumulating wealth again.
Yes.
So what does this tell us about poverty? That if someone is poor and they don't have the mindset, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no money you can throw at poverty if it's not mindset, and then you solve it.
If you don't work on the mind.
Yeah.
You can throw money to a person who didn't have money, but if you don't work on the mindset, they'll still be poor and be begging, because that's what they're used to. That's what they know. So even if you put money here, they won't see themselves as wealthy, and unless you change their mindset and give them skills how to utilize this money, they just go and maybe drink it up and do crazy stuff and end up still where they were. So mindset plays a big role in determining the success or failure of a person's life.
But then again, if we are defining in dollar terms, we are defining wealth according to someone else's script. My opinion.
Yes.
Because say for example, you have someone who lives in the village, right? In terms of quality of life, they probably have a farm, right?
Yes.
That they get food probably better quality than other people who are millionaires, right? They are raising their family, they are happy, they have animals they can slaughter. As per their standards, they are rich.
That's wealth.
But as per
you see what I was saying earlier,
the standard of the dollar,
saying that,
because they probably don't get to like transact or to earn $1 a day, more than $1 a day, they will be considered poor, right? Do you think that also changes the definition of poverty in that context?
And in that context, that person isn't poor because they've got assets, and the assets have good value.
Resources.
So I will not put that person in the category of the really poor, because they've got their farm, they've got their food from the farm fresh. They've got if they're chicken, they can get milk, they can get eggs. If you put all that value, it's more than $1 in a day.
Okay.
Yes.
Before the beginning of this conversation, you mentioned a very strong word, exposure.
Yes.
Right? There's a very big difference between you growing up in the village, right? And you being exposed to Mombasa, to Meru, to the US, to Nairobi, right? So does this mean that it's exposure that changes our definition of wealth or poverty?
No.
How so?
Because you can be, just like the example you've just given in the village, then that you've got your own little farm and you're not exposed. You're just in your own little farm in the village where you've lived. You've got your chicken, you've got your little stuff, and you're surviving. You may not be holding the cash, $100, $1 a day, but the assets you have got value, and you live comfortably. So you're not poor. You may not be exposed. You just have not have the exposure of the other world, but you're not poor. Poor in the sense of living below $1 a day. So exposure just enables you to have a wider world view, and once you have a wider world view, you can actually go back and appreciate even home much more, or go back home and say, oh, I saw so and so doing this, and
that's what I want.
We can try that. Or actually, I used to think that thing they were doing in that place was better than ours, but actually I'm the one who went and told them what we are doing. So exposure doesn't have to be international or cross or trans county or trans city, but just exposure, just you moving from your area, and you come from Game, and they say, let me go to Homaway, let me go to Imbo and see what the Imbo people are doing.
Very well.
That's exposure.
Very well. And
then if someone who's even with that wealth of yours, and you are just you are focused only on one place.
Yeah, like I said, now.
Beautiful
All
explanation.
right. Yeah, that's a beautiful explanation. Hold up for a second. Gotta do something real quick. Gotta refill this water bottle. But in the meantime, what I need you to do, let me know what your thoughts are on, you know, Auntie Risk Taker. That's what I'm gonna call her from now on. Yeah, I know her name is Mercedes, but we're gonna call her Auntie Risk Taker. So let me know what your thoughts are on the interview so far. Tell me what you've learned so far. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and make sure you share, because now you've got ample time to do this right now. Yeah, take the risk and do that right now. Let's go. All right, we are back. So yeah, now let's get back to this interview with Auntie Risk Taker. Listen, man. I'm seriously, man. I'm very grateful that I'm reacting to this content. I've learned a lot. I've genuinely learned a lot. I personally have learned a lot. All right. Let's go.
On the situational, on the man-made poverty, your opinion on brokenness. That doesn't qualify as poverty, right?
It does, don't it?
Brokenness in the sense of city life again, where
yes,
brokenness. We talked about being you having assets.
Yes.
And you see many people, and just let me add, speak about this. That you see a lot of young people. They're leaving their villages where they've got land. They've got
they have land.
Yes, there's land, even if it's not in your name, but there's a family land. You have relatively a small hut, the one we call Simba in Lu. life is relatively cheap. You don't have to pay. Maybe you get water for free. You got a solar light these days. You live a decent life, and then people are living there and they're coming for greener pastures in the city because they want now to earn cash. And you find that they're actually leading very difficult lives in the city. It's tough because they earn minimum wages, but you've got to pay rent, you've got to buy everything, you've got to pay for electricity, you've got to buy water, you've got to buy food. And normally you have your shamba and get your maize and vegetables for at a
lower price,
at a cheap rate.
But you're near the money. You are near where everyone is getting the money. You are near exposure.
And that is the attraction. You are attracted to the nearness of money, without realizing that what you've left behind
is more valuable.
Is more valuable just because you have not quantified it.
Okay.
You just quantified the assets that the mama has at home. She's got the chicken and a ng'ombe with milk. She gets milk and maybe sells another half a liter every day. And,
what she's saying makes a lot of sense.
She got eggs. Mwingine akiingia dakika
See
moja
how
kuku ameshawekwa hapo na
in the
kuna
Western world,
which if you're in Nairobi you wouldn't do
to
that.
make it seem like it's not.
So you see a lot of
so
young
mad.
people, the allure of city life, without realizing that actually there's value and there's money and therefore the brokenness that they can experience in the city is very different from, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that only applies. That only applies if there is something you can borrow in the city life and go reset the mindset back in the village, and you can actually create opportunities there, and they are scalable.
And they're scalable. And it's good to go out there, but it's also good to be realistic and say, look, I have tried this, and I think back home I can do this and that in my little shamba, in my little space. And that I've got a brother who's actually living a more distance than me here in Nairobi. One time there's and this is a true story, there's a mama who lost us in Nairobi. She's a relative. And so she came for the son's, she came to be around the funeral arrangements of the son, and she realized, she came and found that the son was living in such deplorable conditions. She was in shock. And she said, this is how my son has been living in the city, and he's left a more decent life at home. He was living in a place where really even he couldn't even access. There was no toilet facilities out there, and she's like, what's happening? This is the Nairobi that I hear, because she had never been to Nairobi, and this is Nairobi life that I hear. And she felt sad that the son had ended up choosing that kind of life, yet according to her, she knew that she was living a better life than the son in Nairobi.
But then the other opinion would be, there are other sons who came and lived in those deplorable conditions. One of them, a good example, lived in Kibera, right?
Yeah.
But now he's a Langata MP, current.
Yes.
Jalas.
Yeah.
So there's also, it's a very, very thin line between surviving those deplorable conditions to actually become someone who has a say in the city.
It's true. And for that there must have been a conscious decision that, listen, I'm here, but I'm really trying to be elsewhere, to our life.
The problem is settling. So if you come to the city and you settle, you're lost.
I agree with you.
In the sense that if there's something you're chasing that you actually will lift you to the next level, if you're actually feeling the opportunities and if you're feeling the progress, you're okay to be in the city.
No, I'm not saying you're not. But I'm saying that it reaches a point when you go to make that decision, that am I seeing light at the end of the tunnel?
Or you're in the wrong.
Is my resolve strong? Is my resilience strong to overcome this?
Yes.
Do I have options? Some people live through them because they don't have options, and this, like the example of this mother, she felt that her son had an option.
Yes,
of going back home and living a more decent life than what she found that the son was going to. And she's like, oh, this is how my son lived, and we live much more comfortably back home. I live much more comfortably than, and I thought that, oh, the city was a big place where there's money and people live good lives. I know people go home and they give the impression that they are okay. And this is a message even to the young people now. Everybody wants to come to the city. But on the same vein, you can make that city back home where you are. Yeah.
Okay.
You can.
So, okay.
So what about
Then
those
now,
living in the city?
before we go to your transition
the
from the
same thing.
UN to the village, what do you think is the difference between empowerment and creating dependency in the context of creating opportunities or helping the poor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good question.
It's a very
Thin line.
area. Yes,
it's a very thin line, and for me it all boils down to the human nature. We are wired to be comfortable.
Why? That is human
Very
nature.
quickly, when things work for us, we relax.
True.
When things work for us.
Yes.
Nah, for real, he's right.
We only go to hunt when we must go out.
When you're hungry.
When you're hungry. But if you're not, then you get comfortable. And this is a discussion, a conversation what we used to have in the NGO world. The conversation about helping people by giving out aid.
Yes.
And in the process, creating, you do it initially. It's good. Initially, it's for the first several years it's a critical need. Yeah. But then after some time, it creates a dependency. You see, the aid workers they come in and with food and food rations. We've got the camps that we talked about, the refugee camps that we talked about, they've been there for years. People have become adults, they're 30 years, 40 years. They were born in the refugee camps.
Yes.
That's just one example. And I mean, well, it's just not the refugee camps, but also within the development programs within the country and outside elsewhere. Where community and non-governmental organizations, or they come in or they come together and they identify the gaps and they intervene in terms of provision of services, even services, and could be direct goods, they could be food, and I'm talking about like example of food or supporting children with school fees. The conversations that we used to have was that the families get so dependent on getting their food rations that when they get their own money, they don't budget for food. Because they know they have in their mind and in
programmed themselves to.
They programmed themselves that we get our food rations every Friday.
Yes.
Or once in 2 weeks, and we get it in this portion, and this is what we survive on. And if we add just a little bit, to the extent that even when their financial fortune changes, they'll not go and buy that food because they know.
That's interesting. Yeah, sorry to pause on to you like that, but like it almost reminds me of because as you know, I'm born and raised London, UK, in the UK, whatever. Yeah, they do have programs. In case you didn't know, there's a program called, well, now they call it Universal Credit, but before it was called Job Seekers Allowance, and it was ESA and all these. There's so many so different variations, but even under Universal Credit is basically just a support system basically for those who are unemployed, and depending on whatever criteria you qualify, right? And this ain't to throw shame on anybody, because there was a point in my life where I was also on Universal Credit, but first I was on Job Seekers Allowance, no, income support first, then Job Seekers Allowance. I never wanted to be on job seekers or income support or job seeker allowance. I never wanted to be on that. Not that I knew anything bad of it. I just knew, knowing my situation, I knew that okay, I need employment. Like, I need employment because I know what my situation is. Like, I need it. And it's funny, I was needing that employment so badly that the employment opportunity, in far as me getting employment, was far in between. And then there was one opportunity which, you know what I mean? I missed that opportunity for a different opportunity. And it's so ironic because as much as you're talking about working for an NGO, even though that opportunity wasn't an NGO, but within the organization, there was different organizations that represented for NGOs. But anyway, that aside, it's amazing because I had the same day I had that interview. Get me? I don't want to talk too much in it, but like, yeah, it's just so interesting how life is, yeah. But anyway, God has given me a second chance, and I'm doing what I'm doing now. Get me? So I'm grateful to God for that, for real, for real. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, like, that was me. That was my personal thing. I didn't want to be on job seekers allowance, but there's some people that are on that, or they are on universal credit, and they depend on universal credit, so they know they get paid this amount every week or every 2 weeks or whatever the case may be, or every month. I forgot how it is these days. I literally forgot. Yeah. However, the reality is they get paid a certain amount every month, and they use that to buy food or to buy whatever they're buying, and then they depend on that, not realizing they're not investing that money to really genuinely look for employment. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying it's mad, yeah, because again, I don't want to shame no one. People want to do whatever they're going to do. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's interesting how people depend on certain things. And sometimes some people depend on certain things because they need to at that point. But then it gets to a point where when they can depend on it, because some people can be on universal credit and get to a point where they can get employment, but it's employment so enough for them to still be able to be on universal credit. You see, as soon as I got my employment properly and I realized I need income where I'm not relying on universal credit ever. I don't want to be on that ever again. No disrespect to anyone who's on that. I don't want to be on that. I just don't want to. Yeah. Like, I was praying to God hard. Yeah. And God answered my prayers. And I continue to want to maintain not being on universal credit. I want to get to the point where I am really, really super, super wealthy. You know what I mean? Ultra super wealthy. But anyway, that in all different currencies. But that's neither here or there. That's why again, Financial Fridays or Financial Fridays. That's because of it's a personal thing, but at the same time, I want to showcase to everyone watching that you can, wherever you are in whatever country, especially African and Caribbean country, or any other country, but you can, do you know what I mean? You can obtain the wealth that you want to, the financial wealth that you want to obtain. But anyway, let's keep it moving because I feel like I'm talking too much. Let's go.
Food is provided for free.
Yes.
And that is the criticality of aid, that it creates dependency, and this is just in a small context. It's happened also in the country, when the country is dependent on aid. And I want to bring this much closer. That
this is interesting.
For many years now, I don't like using the word third world countries, but I'm saying Kenya and other African nations have depended on critical HIV/AIDS drugs from donors, to the extent that when they're budgeting, they have not put this in their budget, that this is a critical need for the people, this is a life-saving need, medical need for our people. And we've got numbers, we've got statistics to know what they get and how much they get. That we have not tried as a country to put that in our budget, such that when the donors and they threaten to pull out, and in fact now we are just living on borrowed time. Wow. We're not prepared. We are dependent on this, so we know that that one HIV/AIDS we don't even touch because
it's been taken care of.
The donors have taken care of it. The same way, so that aid, in as much that as it is good, it creates this dependency, and as in human nature, we fall back very quickly into the dependency syndrome. School fees has always been paid for me by the government, or I always get bursary, and it doesn't matter. Even if you have got your goat, you cannot go and sell your goat to pay school fees. Sell your goat for something else, but not school fees, because you must get bursary from the government. I have been getting bursary from the government. This is their responsibility. So that exit strategy, that weaning people out of aid, is something that has got to be done intentionally. People don't get comfortable. And
just a quick pause, because you're talking about aid, and you know what's mad? The acronym for AIDS, in terms of in HIV, is Acquired Human Deficiency Syndrome. Isn't that the same similar situation? So let me share that real quick. Isn't that the same similar situation in regards to AIDS that's been given to these countries? So there's a sickness that is an immune deficiency. I thought it was autoimmune. I don't know why I thought it was autoimmune, but it's acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Do you get it? So, yeah, man. Let's just keep it moving. Let's go.
It becomes not even an expectation, but a right. That, for me, is an experience which I take with me from working with a non-governmental organizations. That if you're not careful, it messes people up. To be able to be resilient, because when that person withdraws, then what happens? That's why there's the programming these days is very very particular about sustainability of the programs. That we just don't want to continue it, but what are we? How are we training you, including in your mind?
Facts.
Somebody who is poor and poor through that definition when they made. He's used to being given every time they go and beg. Someone is begging in the streets for 30 years. They're conditioned to beg, such that they are not going to ask themselves that, okay, how much have I made from this begging? How can I get out of this begging? It becomes a career.
It becomes a job.
It becomes a job.
So, as we close, you transitioned from the UN to politics. That was hell of a transition.
That was huge, yes.
I mean, is it though?
Having
the same
worked for the UN for all those years, with the image I have of what it means to work for the UN, this is your first like proper opportunity for a pay cut, Kwanza? You know, a proper one. And it's a pay cut that, knowing Kenya as a country, it's a pay cut that even the salary you have has been budgeted for by the people you are supposed to represent.
More than budgeted for.
How much of a transition is this? And why politics? You retired into politics. That's a very strong statement.
Yes, I retired into politics. And
I
keep telling people and that I got into politics by default. And they asked me, what do you mean by default?
Yeah.
And I said default because it was pre-programmed for me. I didn't know about it, but now that on hindsight, it had been pre-programmed.
How so?
Because if I had not planned to go into politics, I did not plan to retire to go into politics. Circumstances led me, and I saw the hand of God pushing me to places that I didn't imagine, and I found myself in the village.
The hand of God pushing you to the devil's playground. That's a paradox. Mkono ya Mungu. Let me say that in Kiswahili. Mkono ya Mungu ilimsukuma kwa shetani.
Hey, yo!
That's a powerful. God sent you to the devil. Please break it down.
Let me break it down and tell you how. By the time I was taking my early retirement, I was in New York. I was based in New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Kwa sema unatoka New York, unaenda Alego.
And nikasema mimi natoka New York, mimi nataka kurudi nyumbani. I had options of moving from New York to other places. UNICEF is I work for United Nations Children's Fund with offices all over the world. And something drives me and talks to me and my inner self that, look, you've done all these years. I had almost done 30 years by the time I was taking my early retirement, almost. It was 25 plus. You've been working very hard all over the world, providing humanitarian work, community development in different parts of the world. I have trained you, so to speak. I have been trained over the years and been my skills honed in management of big projects and in all these things that can transform people. And we did. And for example, in South Sudan, we went to South Sudan. I was part of the mission that went to South Sudan when just after the signing of the comprehensive agreement.
John Garang's time. This is 205, 204.
I don't
205, 204. It must be, yes.
Must be. The early 2000s, yes. And that place was the jungle. Jungle. Nothing. Literally, you go to Juba and the way you can count like 3 shops or Arab shops. We were sleeping in tents that we were carrying ourselves and pitching. Damn. And we started slowly by slowly. I was among the people that was even, we went to set up the UN office there from scratch. Nothing.
Scratch?
So here I am. I'm with all this. I tell myself, I think I'm equipped enough to go and help my people. I have enough experience, I have enough networks, I have enough exposure, enough. It's not about money anymore.
Oh. It's not about money anymore.
It's not, and it's not about money. And then, how I didn't even know how I was going to do it. I just knew I needed to go home and make my contribution. I did not know how.
Yes.
Then how comes like this? I come in and immediately arrive. I came in early 2020 when just COVID was just beginning. I came with COVID.
That needs to be clarified. You came during COVID.
During COVID.
You did not come.
COVID.
Thank you.
When COVID was just beginning.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
And luckily for us, we already had all these things of working from home, and even I would come and work from home in Kenya and work from different parts of the world. And so I go to visit in the village. I don't even think I spent a week. Then I went to the village and just to visit for a weekend actually. And while I was there, it was in March. It was in March when I went to the village. Because I came in January, took a few days off before I started work again. And then the COVID, the lockdown, the first lockdown was announced when I was in the village. And they said 1 month, no moving. And in that 1 month, no moving, I came already knowing what COVID was about. And back in the village, people are not...
You came already knowing?
Yes, because the cases of COVID had already started being
So
imported.
before it was announced in Kenya,
Yes.
you came knowing that there's something cooking.
Yes, we already the world knew, and the world.
That's interesting. It's mad around those times because I remember. I don't want to reminisce on those days, on those times, but I had a job opportunity. I signed a contract. I literally signed a contract, bruv. When COVID hit, that job don't even exist. That company don't even exist in that office no more, even after COVID. It's mad. Oh man. But anyway, listen. There's I want to be careful what the word I'm saying there, but there are blessings in disguises. There are blessings in disguises, though. But yeah, man, let's just keep it moving. By the way, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications if you haven't already. Got more content like this on the way every Friday, Financial Friday. So if you're into content in regards to finance, especially related to African and Caribbean content or anyone from the diaspora, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, because once I go live, I will post. You'll get notified and you'll be able to watch there and then, interact, all that stuff there. But yeah, let's keep it moving.
In the US knew that there was something called COVID in the world from China and so on. So I got the village, and I'm in the village, and people don't know anything about COVID. Business as usual, and they are hearing it. Oh, it is in Nairobi. That time, even the first case of COVID hadn't been. And that weekend, I think, when it was being announced, is when the first case of COVID was detected.
First weekend.
And so I was in the village, stuck for 1 month. And in 1 month, then I started asking around, well, what are we doing about this thing that we don't know and is spreading so fast? What is our level of preparedness? And I link up with our local dispensary, and I asked the nurse in charge, and he said, no, we don't have any plans. Nothing has happened. And I said, what? That time I came, we were already wearing masks. Nobody was wearing masks at all. We did nothing like those protocols of washing hands. It was happening. And so I said, well, what can we do? And she said, we sat down with her and said, we need this thing. Who are your leaders you're working with? And she said, well, we are leaders, and we have leaders, but we have called them for meetings, they don't come. I asked for this from the stores, we haven't gotten them yet. Even they didn't have gloves. And so I said, let's sit down and do something about it. And say, what do we need to sensitize the people? So we need to get a team, train the team very quickly to go out and spread the message that, look, this is the disease, and this is how to respond. Don't get scared. If you see the symptoms, this is what you should do, and so on. So we did a program with the nurse in charge. And I put together a request to my friends and said, well, this is a budget that I have. Can we help through WhatsApp and raise some little money? And we did it.
Don't be modest. Some little money.
Yes, actually it was very little.
How much is very
Now,
little?
for real, no. Give her a round of applause, yeah?
100,000. That was very little.
No, but
Yes, and so we did something very basic in my village.
Maybe basic, but it's something.
Some young youth that had been volunteering with me. I had some small program with the youth on youth empowerment, mainly around sports and mentorship. And we listed them, and we trained them together with the community health volunteers. Then they were called CHVs then.
You had them in a program, empowerment program. No interest in politics still?
No interest in politics. At that time, I didn't have any interest in politics. And so we brought in the CHVs and the youth, and we had an intensive training and told them, we pair them out, the youth and the CHV, 2 youths in fact, I think, and the CHV, and then go out. This is what you're going to do. We bought some soap and sanitizers and masks, and they went out. For 3-4 days, I think, they covered the entire sub-location with information, and then we distributed the soap the sanitizers,
This is no small feat,
we
you
make sure
know.
that we got the public health guy to come and see the market and secure the market. You can't get into the
Auntie
market
Risk
if you don't
making
have
me
your
the movie. I can't, man. Like,
hand
still.
washing stations. The hospital, the dispensary, you cannot get in without a mask. And that is actually how my people started getting to expose. But this thing is serious. Now you are required to wear a mask to get to the market. If you don't have a mask, you can't get into the hospital. And we did that successfully, and actually it got me now thinking that what more can we do? That time also was a time when the schools were closed. Then I think that after that lockdown, then it was extended. The schools were closed. The children were all over the place. Not going to school, and the assumption of the government that time was that the students were learning at home. And we knew they're not learning at home because they didn't have the gadgets. We don't even have electricity.
Hey, listen, even those with the gadgets and
electricity
all
coverage.
the electricity
And so that now,
in America and in the UK.
these young people are the ones who
learning.
opened up and said, but mom, the students are all over the place here. They really, really need help because they are not doing anything. The government is saying that they are studying and they're not studying. And so again, I marshaled up some help and come with some laptops, and I borrowed some from my friends, and we set up a temporary school. And luckily for me, as I was doing that, there was a friend from the area who reached out and said, I've got this program for e-learning. If you can put together a group of students and some laptops, I can link you up with the program at no cost, a program of online teachers. And I said, yes, I'm able to do that very quickly. And I did that, and within a very short time, we got PowerPoint, we got a laptop and projectors, and we were projecting, and we got the program. We got professional teachers that were teaching our students. So we had a schedule for students coming in the morning, and some coming in the afternoon, the older ones coming in the afternoon, and they spent time in my school. I ran a community school too. So they'd come to my school, all the children, and it became a program now. Okay. That is when now I'm saying, I think I can do more. I need a bigger platform. For me to do this, and this will not be impactful until it's done at a larger scale. To do a larger scale, I need a bigger platform. So what bigger platform is there is to get into politics. I had never been a politician. I'd never even lived in the village. So,
like that.
Just like that. And the seed was born in me that, look, let's try. There's nothing wrong in trying. I've got nothing to lose. If I win, well and good. If I don't.
Nothing to lose in a world where they have to chew your money first.
And they have to chew my money, and they did chew my money.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is no way that you actually come with proper empowerment programs, and they will vote for you out of the goodness of their heart.
Because first of all, I was operating in a community, a small community, but to get voted in, you need a whole ward, which is made up of people who have never even, they've never heard of you. You've never even stepped into their area. So for me, this message to reach all the people, it had to be work and hard work.
Okay.
And it's something that I hadn't prepared for, but because I found myself in, then I said, well, let's go the whole way.
Okay. So in terms of impact, kidogo pia, I made a mental note in South Sudan. You go in when it's a jungle. How do you come out? Like, what changes did you note by your intervention that you say that actually gave you the motivation that you can actually do proper service to humanity? How much change did you bring to South Sudan from when it was a jungle to when you left?
In
the impact of the intervention that you...
in South Sudan, you are working with in a structured organization where you are going for a mission. You've got TORs, you've got time frame for you to go in and out. That time when you are going in, we're actually preparing the setting up an office and setting up systems for local staff.
Or systems for local
staff, so that we can hand over to the process. I wasn't just the only team. There were teams that went and stayed even longer, up to 2 years training. But initially, that team that went there was setting up an office, setting up systems, and starting the recruitment process.
Understood. So now, there's also something else, and a motivation from that South Sudan story that leads to the statement, it was not about money anymore. That is top shelf financial freedom, right?
Yeah.
What builds the mindset that leads to, okay, I don't know whether I should say this. This is my secret. With the person, it's a personal aspiration, so I'll not say it today.
Yes.
My friend and your nephew, Larry Madowo, who helped us set this up. To give credit to him, he plays a very big role to how I land my own TV show that ends up becoming the longest running show on Kenyan TV of the format that I did. We did 7 years week. And he defended my position and covered me till I could speak for myself. And everybody knows it's an open story. Okay?
I'm glad it.
I don't know.
So
I'm new to
he
this.
says that it's a secret between.
I'm new to this. I didn't know this. But anyway, look. I just realized I'm wearing the wrong chain, but it's fine. All right, look. What was I gonna say? Oh, do you see when she was talking about the thing about kids here that weren't really learning because they didn't have the resources and this, that, and the third, yeah? And I was saying that kids in the UK and in America weren't even also learning. Well, some of them weren't anyway. Because there was one that I vividly remember, and it went viral. There was this girl that used her doll in replacement of her for the Zoom call for the e-learning or whatever you call it. That was during lockdown. That is hilarious. These kids are not stupid, they're smart. And it's good that they're smart. Do you know what I mean? It's good that they're smart, but do you know what I mean? Oh man, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. That think about it. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
That I'm aspiring to reach that statement. So something close to that. This is a different version of that. It was not about money anymore.
Yeah.
How do you unlock that level of freedom? That it's not about money anymore.
Yeah. Still, it's in the mind. You either let money control you or you control money.
Wait, what?
You can't say that without money.
Yes. And if you don't reach that point of controlling it, then it will control you. Then the more you get, the more you want. The more you want. There's never enough money.
The more you get, the more you want.
The more you want. That's why there's corruption, and that's why there's big corruption. And that big corruption is done by people who have got lots of money. It's not by people who don't have money.
Is this the concept of a number? For you, this is where I stop at. This also gels with the concept of billionaire at heart. Like I don't have to have the figures, but
yes.
I'm contented.
I'm contented with where I am, and I thank God. That is, it's. I've gone through the struggles of not having. Definitely, or not having enough.
Being poached from.
Oh. Yes. Oh yeah. There've been difficult times. Being poached from school, from college, and starting a job, and starting a family, starting a life. Now it's not been roses all through. It's not been at all. If that's the if that's the impression that was made, it's not. There have been difficulties. There have been struggles. But then for you and for anybody to reach that level of contentment, it's not that you have a lot of money. It's just that you've gone through life's experiences. You appreciate where you've reached, where God has brought you thus far, right? And that I'm in a better place than many people. You're not a millionaire or billionaire, but you recognize that you're in a better place than many people, and that you can actually offer a lending hand.
You know why that's a strong statement?
Let me just say that.
You say they have these struggles.
Yes.
These struggles are because the money is not enough.
Yes.
But then the level you're at, where it's not about money anymore, it's not that there is a lot of money.
Yes.
But not that the struggles are not gone, but it's because you know how to control money.
Yes.
You know how to
You
control
don't
money.
let money control you. You then control the money. And
But how do you control the money?
there's something so personal that I once told a doctor when I was in the US, and I was given medication where I needed to check my blood. I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I was given medication where I needed to check myself every 2 hours, prick and take, and
Follow for that. Huh.
And with time, I just said, this is driving me crazy. I was getting sick because of the stress. And one time I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, how often do you check your blood sugar? And I said, no, I haven't done it in a while. And he said, what while? I said, quite, more than 2 weeks I have not checked and pricked myself. And he said, why? Why is that? I said, I don't want the disease to control me. I want to control the disease.
Yes.
Imagine
It was making me sicker.
How I feel.
And then if I didn't, I said, well, and how do you control it? I said, I know my body. I control my body, so I know. I can listen to my body and can tell. It will tell me when I need to take medicine or I need to come and see you.
Oh.
Yes.
You control when you want to see the doctor.
No. I control the feeling. I know. I understand my body enough that I don't have to live in this anxiety that it's created. That every precursor you go and take test and write down, and then you get anxious. Oh, it's gone down. Oh, now it's getting too low. No, I passed the stage. Yes, I was in that stage. Yes, but I told myself that no, I will not let this happen. I will control.
Oh, so you are just testing and noting down. So, it's gotten low. Eat ice cream.
See, that is what the doctor wants you to do, to be noting all the time. And it makes you anxious. You can't even do anything. And that's me, and I'm talking about myself.
Yes.
I'm saying this with a lot of respect.
Yes.
And I'm not trashing anything that the doctor said. But it reached a point where when I had to make that decision, that I said, I will manage it. I know my body.
And this is the same mindset you bring to how you manage money.
And this is what that for me is the mindset that I bring with money. That look, I am not going to let money control me. That I want more. I want and control my spending. That's one of the strategies. So I will not go and I plan my life and I plan my spending so that I live within my means. In fact, that is a word. I live within my means. And I've done that for many years.
What's written on my t-shirt was said by Okio Mtata on our show. The first
line of income
is your lifestyle. You've just summarized that actually.
Just summarized it.
That was very powerful for us actually. So in Amanisha, there's a certain season of your life that money controlled you.
Yes, very true. There's a certain season, and you just got it. There's a certain season in my life when money controlled me.
And it didn't matter how much you get?
It didn't matter how much I got, I was still getting broke because I didn't control my life.
Yeah, it happens to many though.
Times when I had young children going to school, and I had more financial obligations. And when the kids are young, they're going to school, you want the food, you want them to go for extra tuition, you want them to do this and that.
Yes,
and then your spending is out of control. You're ending up borrowing all the time. You end up in debt. You end up in China. I went.
This was before the UN.
In the UN.
In the UN.
No, seriously.
Seriously.
This UN moja tunajua. You got caught up in the borrowing cycle.
Yes.
In the cash strap cycle.
Yes. Then I can tell you.
Hapana bana. Unajua, it's unbelievable when someone at our place at first, bado before I grew within the ranks, the nation, we used to hear of someone earning over half a million.
Half a billion.
But by the fifth they were broke.
They're broke. True. Inafanyika sana sana. Sana.
It's not about how much you get.
It's how you control your lifestyle.
True.
So I assume that by the time you get your Damascus moment, at the time your life changes, there's something that happens that helps you reset. Do you remember your first taste of freedom, or how long it took you to climb out of the hole of probably, I've gone through this season?
Yeah.
Do you have a recollection of the seasons changing? Probably something that changed, because this is not, I'm assuming this is not something you go to school for?
No, you can't.
Well, these days, there are places you go to, financial manament courses.
Oh, you did take the course?
No, I didn't take the course, but these days, these days you are, but I didn't take the financial management course.
Ulifunzwa na ulimwengu?
Nilifunzwa na ulimwengu. The financial management came later as part of my requirement for my job that needed me to go through a financial management. You have to actually at that time the UN, we had a program for all staff to go through a financial management training, just as part of controlling the management of funds. I mean,
that changed your life.
Yes.
Makes
but
sense.
My Damascus moment wasn't that. My Damascus moment was when really I was in such debt that I just found myself just entangled in debt.
Oh.
And credit cards, debt, which was easy to get credit.
You know what, a credit card?
Hey.
New York massive.
You before. You in Nairobi, Pasi here.
Oh. Sasa Nairobi credit card, that's sasa
now. Watu ndio wameanza credit
level.
card imekuja and kila mtu mko na makadi mna flash KCB Visa card sijui nini.
Uliona moto.
And then actually I think now that you ask, my Damascus moment was just credit card fiasco that ended up
While she has that thought, yeah, do you know what's mad, yeah? Not mad, sorry, let me rephrase that. You see, when it comes down to the management of money, like I think she's absolutely right in terms of you go through seasons. And some people, it depends on how you came into money as well. But like you generally do go through seasons. But the fact that she mentions she got to the point where, you know what I mean, she's content and she's thankful for the money she has now. Do you know what I mean? The wealth that she's making, but the money she's making now. Like, put your answer in the comments section below. Are you grateful to God for the money you're making now, even though you may want more? Let's be real, all right? Because me, I'm definitely grateful for the things that I've gone through now. Now I'm 100% grateful.
What is
Let's
it?
go.
Compounding. So you know the interest. They trap you there and tell you you can just buy a little, pay a little bit, and you pay a little bit every month, but it's
rolled over.
Yeah, still
rolled over with higher interest, and it's like this debt is not ending. What's happening?
You remember how big it grew?
It grew, and in fact, I think initially you start spending and you're going to supermarket and you're spending 10,000. That time 10,000 a lot of money.
Yes.
And before you finish, then the month has ended. You're going to take another 10,000, and this what you're paying back is like you've only paid that 2,000. This thing is compounding. They make it easy for you.
Yes.
And by the time I was getting concerned, I think I had like 100,000 of debt.
Credit card debt.
I had credit card debt. I had mortgage that was growing behind, and I had, in fact, my Damascus moment came when I sat down with a friend one time. We came from church, and we just started talking casually, and she was actually a financial management specialist.
Yes.
And we just used to meet in church and chat. And that day we started chatting. And for some reason, we got into talking about debt and credit cards and mortgages. And she was actually managing a mortgage portfolio in her organization. And she sat me down and told me, look, first of all, you got to get rid of this hanging credit card debt. And you can do that through going to SACCO. You can get a SACCO, a cheaper one, cheaper interest, and pay off this one and remain with that longer one. And that you can, any money that you get now, don't spend it. Put it in your mortgage. Any extra money you get, put it in your mortgage, and don't just pay mortgage in advance. And that's what I learned actually much later. Wow. Don't pay your mortgage in advance. Pay back your what do they call it? There's a name that they call it. They call you pay back your capital. There's a name.
The principal.
The principal.
Yes.
Reduce the principal. Don't pay in advance if you get any extra money.
If you have, let's say, 20 million mortgage,
yes,
do not pay at umelipa 4 months ahead, 12 months ahead. So what you owe the bank minus interest, lima hiyo.
Ile deposit uliweka pale.
Yes.
Ndio iongeze. So that it reduces now
the interest that they are charging on,
and your monthly premiums reduce.
Very nice.
And I followed, and the moment I started doing that, I dealt with my credit card debt. And anytime I had now extra money, like from travel, from working overtime, whatever, I would put in the principal. And the moment you pay that principal, they rework your payment, and you automatically see a reduction. And that helped me to pay back my mortgage very quickly before the end of the time. This money that would otherwise be thinking that I'm smart, I'm paying ahead. I started paying the principal. And it still works up now.
So it means you did not negotiate for a higher salary to now deal with your situation. You managed what you have and now use the surplus to get out of the hole that you are in.
Yes.
Classic.
And from then on, I had my financial freedom. From that time onwards, that was my Damascus moment. You just asked me and I've remembered.
Oh, wow.
That's why we have these conversations. And I said, before we started the show, Nilijambia, you are a brilliant mind. MCA, South East Alego Ward, okay?
Yes.
Hapo kwa MCA, we are brilliant MCAs. Thank you for being a representation of them.
Yes.
Na sahi inasemekana, the former Prime Minister alikuwa anasema, you guys are the ones who are supposed to oversight governors. Yes. And it's been said that one comment was, how can someone who earns a salary of 80,000, as they said, oversight someone controlling a budget of 80 billion? Of course, that holes have been poked to that, and I will not go there. I'll go to your experience. I know Alego actually, Siaya to be specific, has a great concentration of mines. But niko sure hapo pia hapo kwa squad mko na mtu aliachia class 8 lakini Wakenya wakasema ni wewe uende. Iko na shida hiyo ku level up sasa kusema ati now we are equals now in terms of representation.
No, from my experience, I don't see that as a real challenge, because first of all, the number of those that have learned is much higher. In the county assembly of Siaya right now, we have got young MCAs.
Hiyo ni moto.
Unawajua kuna vijana wadogo wasichana na vijana na wanaume.
But
young in their 30s actually.
Huwezi kosa mmoja aliponyoka class 8.
If there is problem, just one.
Exactly, I'm saying. Sasa the other counties, the concentration is higher.
It's higher.
Because the entry, the barrier for entry in terms of education level for the city MCA, that's why I was very curious how much of an adjustment it was for you kusema the levels that you operate, and then sasa you go start in the village. Is that where your strategy when you're moving to a place unaangalia opportunity ya growth? So you'd rather start.
Yes, we know.
I've answered myself.
We know. Next week, he's going to be the president of Kenya.
I told you, for me, going to the village was not about money. It was not about position. Okay. I've had the positions. I've had the money. It's not even up to now about any of those. And I must appreciate that. And actually, I really appreciated when I got in the MCA position. That when we went to the assembly, I was pleasantly surprised to find a lot of very well learned colleagues there, and if the requirement, and not if the requirement, notwithstanding the fact that the requirement is minimal, it requires for you to be an MCA, to run for an MCA, the requirement is minimal, just like it is for running for an MP, by the way, it's the same.
Yes.
Nonetheless, it did not stop the learning ones to vie for them because of different reasons.
Fair point.
And mostly they want to make an impact in their communities.
Fair point.
We have sessions in the legislative process, but in those sessions which are formal, they normally all start at the committee levels. The process of legislation starts from the committees, the assemblies, including many committees, and all members belong to several of those committees. So there's no member who is replaced.
Okay.
And in those committees, they are very, very informal, and we can get into discussions and in comfortable language, and in that environment, everybody,
I could be wrong,
will.
It's a level playing field.
We create a level playing field, and those that may not be, and I don't think there are many.
And I understand also.
And those, so it gives the people the space to express themselves, to learn through the process. We're all learning. I'm also still learning. It was a very new playing ground for me, or it's a very new environment for me from where I came from. The rules are different. The structures are different. But then there's a feeling of there's an environment of camaraderie in the assembly, that we hold each other's hands.
Understand.
And I've seen that, and I don't think there's anybody who feels orphaned by the fact that they've got less education than the others. We work together.
Fair point. Some of my comments are actually made in jest. I recognize the level, I recognize the concept of mindset. Sana. I'm a mindset person. And tukifunga sasa juu tumefunga, props to the organization you once worked for. Interesting. UNICEF. In 2011, UNICEF had one of the most brilliant programs, I think, I've ever seen in terms of the NGOs. And I hate the fact that it's one of the projects I would actually stand up for, not because I was a beneficiary, but because of the impact it could tell. They supported and started a National Youth Talent Academy that trained people on short notice on programs such as film, theater, music, talents. It was very short notice, properly targeted, kabisa, and it was impactful.
That's where they smoked you. That's where your talent was built or discovered.
Not.
See, this is interesting, and it makes me realize more that there are some NGOs or people within some NGOs, especially certain NGOs, where even if you do hear of corruption, that's not to say that everybody and everyone is corrupt. Some people are there for pure good intentions, and they will do whatever possible with good intentions. And I say within good intention, but they will try and do things morally and ethically to make sure that, do you know what I mean? That they are genuinely helping in a way that is really helpful. So the fact that he's mentioning this is very intriguing. I didn't know this. I genuinely didn't know this.
Discovered per se, but I got to learn proper skills on short notice that were very instrumental going forward. Sadly,
Sadly?
It was killed by 2012.
Wow.
Or just a year later?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You'll be interested
back
to know that in my work in my ward, I partnered up with the Kenya Film. Kenya Film.
There's Classification Board and there's Kenya Film Commission.
Kenya Film Commission.
Yes.
And they tailor-made a 1 week long program for youth and train them in film production and videography in my ward. Within a week, the young people are trained and had skills that they are actually using up to now.
Yes.
Those programs are properly impactful because
it's a long-term career.
Some of the people we were with in 2011 in that program are very big brands in the industry today. Kuna kina Kabiwa Jesus. We have my former schoolmate, and we used to call him Garissa, but anaitwa Jimmy Kimaita. He's he's a top video producer in the country right now. I believe he's worked with Eric Omondi for the longest time. As in, very notable people wamekuwa kwa hii industry. Yani, I can't mention all of them. Some of them are in radio, some of them from a program, a pilot project. Yenye was crash program ya 1 year, bio 1 year, I think 1 year or 2 years. Kuna watu walienda 1 year, there are people who did 2 years. And it was very, very impactful.
That's good.
Very impactful. So those are some of the things. Of course, as a critic, some of the humanitarian organization programs.
All right, people, let's go.
That one was a form of education that I have seen fruits actually.
Yes. And I bring that experience into my ward, and I work very closely with my the youth to find opportunities for them for such empowerment trainings.
Okay.
I'll be happy to continue this conversation with you to see how we can partner or get exposure positions for them, like to come to Nairobi. For them is an exposure. People who have never stepped outside of Siaya.
100%.
And I talked to you about this going TV, and I hope that he's listening.
Wiki, our producer. Yes.
Wiki and my the Brian and team who is the CEO of the going TV. That there's hope.
Yes, there is.
For you, just soldier on. With these kinds of opportunities, you can come and visit Dr. Kingori one of the fine days to come and just intern here for even a few days.
100%.
And get motivation. But yes, I have programs for young people very close to my heart. And we just finished just 2 International Youth Day was marked on the 12th of this month. I had a big event training on entrepreneurship and agribusiness and digital spaces for young people, a big crowd. And my prayer is that we will continue working with them and slowly by slowly find opportunities. Our young people are struggling with opportunities. Kabisa. In the rural areas, it's almost a very closed, small market. We are having an investment in Siaya County, an investment conference this next month. This new month, end of month of September 24th, 27th, we hope and we believe that we'll attract investors who can come and invest in Siaya and then open it up for the job market.
That's important. Investors.
Sawa. And I think the film industry bado iko na opportunities. Thank you for the good work that you're doing. Anything tunaweza penda kufanya. Mimi kwanza, I was so fixed on doing a Musa Juma documentary because I'm a Musa Juma #1 fan in the space that I occupy. But then I noticed that there's a producer, I think he's doing very good law stories, and it was Simi Kenya. He's actually Simi Kenya. He's done a proper documentary, interviewed the families and stuff. So
I'm going to look into that.
Say give a shout out to him. Wale watu wanapenda Musa Juma, mnaenda muangalie documentary yenye alifanya Musa Juma. And he's focused on musicians huko. Other stories are around yenye local film producers wanafanya, and that's not only to Siaya County. This is dedicated across because there's so Kenyan stories that can be told. And I believe as people grow in terms of skill, it opens up opportunities
as well.
We wish you all the best in your new career path. All the best in your future career progressions, and special thank you to my friend Larry Madowo for helping us set this up.
He's watching right now.
Namwambianga he plugged me good, and nilimuuliza aliniambia the best he would hope for in terms of a thank you. The best way I can thank him is to also plug as many more people as possible. But also I'm a beneficiary of very many people. Nikika hapa, I've been passed opportunities now doing. I stand on the shoulders of very many people. Akina Kazungu Matano.
Everybody, wherever you are, wherever you are. I am here because I stood on the shoulders of many people. That's why I'm here.
All right, people, back again. Give me a second.
100%.
And I'm now giving up my shoulder for the others to stand up.
Asante sana.
That's why I'm in this murky, so-called murky waters of
Murky
politics.
waters.
Yes.
And thank you for making time for us.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
All right, so right, that was a good interview, good watch. Do you know what I mean? A very, very good watch. Yeah, man. Let's just get straight into the comments. So obviously, I'm gonna like that. Let's see the recent comments. Listening to a life well lived. We need nuggets here. Also, be ready for hard truth. We are prepared. We have to be prepared to start providing HIV drugs. This year was a vote in the Congress to discontinue the program was started by President Bush. It almost got eliminated. Thank God for the few Republicans who fought to keep it. If it comes to vote again, we may lose it. Listen, I want to be careful. I'm not going to like that comment, and the only reason why, because here's the thing. We need to understand exactly. Yeah, in some cases, they are helping people, right? But are they really helping people? Like, I don't know, innit? Like, I don't know too much. I don't want to talk too much on that particular situation. All I want to say is this. We have to, just as I said, there's corruption when it comes to NGOs. Yeah, just keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. All right? And yeah. But anyway, I'm going to just keep it moving. I'm going to leave a comment real quick. So I'm going to say, super anti risk taker has truly lived a fulfilled life. I won't be surprised if she one day becomes president. Facts or true? Do you know what I mean? I genuinely won't be surprised. I genuinely will not be surprised. But yeah, man, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let's see if any of you left any comments. But yeah, man, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Got more content on the way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And make sure you stay active in the community tab as well. Get me? Because there's gonna be some things like polls and all that stuff there. So get me? Make sure you stay active there as well. But anyway, like, follow, share some for more.